Have you ever felt that sinking weight in your chest? The one that whispers, "You're not good enough," even when the world around you is cheering for you. Maybe it was before a job interview, a big decision, or even just speaking up in a conversation. Self-doubt sneaks in quietly, like an uninvited guest who overstays their welcome. It clings to your thoughts, distorts your perception, and convinces you that you're smaller, weaker, or less capable than you truly are. It doesn't matter how successful you may seem to others, or how much you've achieved. Self-doubt has a way of finding cracks in your confidence. It loves to remind you of every mistake, every rejection, and every moment you fell short of your expectations. It turns those moments into proof that you'll never be enough. And here's the cruel trick. The louder that voice becomes, the more you hesitate, the more you shrink away from opportunities, and the more you start believing its lies. But here's the truth no one tells you. Self-doubt isn't your enemy. It's just a reflection of unhealed fears, past conditioning, and unrealistic standards you may have unknowingly inherited. And like every other emotion, self-doubt can be understood, managed, and transformed. You don't have to carry it like a permanent weight on your shoulders. Instead, you can learn to lighten that load and rediscover the quiet, steady confidence that's been waiting within you all along. There was a woman named Clara. She was like so many of us, smart, hard-working, and kind-hearted. From the outside, she had her life together, a stable job, a supportive circle of friends, and a long list of things she was proud of. But deep down, Clara carried a secret she rarely admitted to anyone, not even to herself. Every time she faced a challenge, whether it was speaking up at a meeting or sharing her creative ideas, her chest would tighten, her hands would sweat, and that same thought would echo in her mind. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Clara's self-doubt didn't come out of nowhere. It had been planted years ago, like a seed. As a child, she had a teacher who constantly compared her to others. "Why can't you be more like your classmates?" the teacher would say, even when Clara tried her best. At first, Clara brushed it off, but over time, she started to believe those words. She began to think that no matter how much effort she put in, she'd always fall short. That belief followed her into adulthood, quietly shaping how she saw herself. One day, Clara was invited to present an idea to her team, a project she had poured her heart into for months. It was her chance to shine, to show her creativity and leadership. But as the day of the presentation grew closer, so did the voice of her inner critic. "You're going to mess this up. You don't know what you're doing." They'll see right through you. Clara rehearsed her presentation a dozen times, but every time she practiced, her words felt clumsy, her thoughts scattered. The more she tried to prepare, the worse her anxiety became. On the morning of the meeting, she stood in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection, feeling the familiar weight pressing down on her chest. Part of her wanted to call in sick, to avoid the embarrassment of failing. She thought about how much easier it would be to let someone else take the spotlight. But then something surprising happened. Clara thought about all the hours she had spent on her project, all the obstacles she had overcome to get to this point. She thought about the people in her life who had encouraged her, who had seen her potential even when she couldn't. For the first time in a long time, she decided to question the voice of self-doubt instead of blindly accepting it. What if I can do this? That single thought was like a small crack of light breaking through a dark room. Clara took a deep breath, straightened her posture, and walked into that meeting. Her hands still trembled and her heart still raced, but she spoke with a quiet determination that surprised even herself. When she finished her presentation, her team didn't just applaud, they stood up, inspired by her vision and clarity. Later, as Clara reflected on the experience, she realized something important. The fear hadn't disappeared. She had still doubted herself. But in that moment, she chose to act anyway. She had learned to make space for her self-doubt without letting it control her. Clara's story isn't unique. It's all of us. Whether you're facing a big moment in life or simply trying to get through the day, self-doubt is something we all encounter. It doesn't care about your age, background, or achievements. It whispers the same fears into everyone's ear. You're not ready. You'll fail. You're not worthy. But here's the thing no one tells you. Self-doubt isn't an all-powerful force. It's just a voice. And like every voice, it can be challenged. It thrives on silence and avoidance, but the moment you start questioning it, its grip begins to loosen. Self-doubt often roots itself in our past, comments, experiences, or failures that left a mark on us. We carry those moments forward, allowing them to define how we see ourselves. But Buddhism teaches us something revolutionary. We are not our past. We are not our mistakes, our fears, or the labels we cling to. The person you were yesterday doesn't have to dictate the person you can be today. Every moment is an opportunity to start fresh, to step forward with courage and self-compassion. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of impermanence reminds us that nothing in life is permanent. Not our emotions, not our circumstances, not even our doubts. Everything is constantly changing, and that includes you. The version of yourself that feels stuck or uncertain isn't set in stone. You're always growing, learning, and evolving, even when you can't see it. Another cornerstone of Buddhist wisdom is self-compassion, the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. How often do you beat yourself up for falling short or making mistakes? And yet, if someone you loved came to you with the same struggles, you'd comfort them, encourage them, and remind them of their worth. What would happen if you spoke to yourself that way? And then there's mindfulness, the art of being fully present. When self-doubt takes hold, it often pulls you into the past or projects you into an imagined future. It replays old failures or invents scenarios where everything goes wrong. But when you anchor yourself in the present moment, those fears lose their power. You realize that in this moment, right now, you have everything you need to take the next step. Here's the truth. Self-doubt will never disappear completely. It's part of being human, but you don't have to let it dictate your life. You can learn to recognize it for what it is, a passing thought, not a permanent truth. You can create space between yourself and your inner critic, giving your confidence the room it needs to grow. Think about all the times you doubted yourself and still moved forward. Think about the moments when you proved yourself wrong, when you accomplished something despite your fears. Those moments weren't accidents. They were glimpses of your true potential, the parts of you that self-doubt can never touch. You have the power to rewrite the narrative in your mind. You can choose to see yourself not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of possibility. And when you do, you'll find that the confidence you've been searching for isn't something you have to create from scratch. It's already there, waiting for you to uncover it. So, today, take the first step. Question the voice of doubt. Treat yourself with kindness. Anchor yourself in the present. You're not here to live in fear or hesitation. You're here to grow, to learn, and to shine in ways you've only begun to imagine. And trust me, you are more than capable of doing just that. Self-doubt thrives in silence. It grows in the shadows of uncertainty, nurtured by the small moments when you hesitate, question, or tell yourself, "Maybe I'm just not enough." The real challenge is that most of us never pause long enough to ask where this feeling comes from. Is it born of failure? Is it the voice of someone who once doubted you and left their words carved into your mind? Or is it something deeper, something tied to how we see ourselves, how we cling to certain beliefs, and how we fear letting go of control? To move beyond self-doubt, we first need to understand its roots. Buddhist philosophy offers a path to uncovering the origins of this persistent inner voice. By exploring its connection to attachments, fear, and past conditioning, we gain not just clarity, but the tools to free ourselves from the weight of this struggle. Self-doubt is intricately tied to attachments. In Buddhism, attachments refer to the ways we cling to people, outcomes, and even ideas about ourselves. We attach our worth to our accomplishments, thinking that success will silence the doubt. But when success doesn't come, or when it does and still leaves us feeling empty, the cycle deepens. This attachment creates a fragile foundation for self-worth, one that crumbles under the slightest pressure. For example, when we equate our value with external achievements, like a promotion or recognition, we become dependent on those moments for validation. When they don't arrive, we spiral into self-doubt, questioning if we were ever worthy in the first place. Buddhist teachings show that true confidence arises not from attaching yourself to fleeting successes, but from letting go of the need for them altogether. Letting go doesn't mean you stop striving or caring. It means your sense of worth is no longer tied to outcomes beyond your control. Detaching from these false anchors frees you to pursue growth and improvement without fear of failure. In this way, detachment isn't about giving up. It's about stepping into the freedom of being enough, no matter the result. Fear is another powerful root of self-doubt. Buddhism teaches that fear often arises from a misunderstanding of the self and the world. When we fear failure, rejection, or judgment, it's because we see those experiences as definitive proof of who we are. We don't just fear failing a test, we fear being labeled a failure. This fear is deeply rooted in the illusion of permanence, the belief that one bad moment will define us forever. However, Buddhism reminds us that nothing is permanent, not even our mistakes or the labels we place on ourselves. A single failure is just that, a moment in time, not the totality of who you are. When you embrace the impermanence of all things, you begin to see fear for what it truly is, a fleeting emotion, not an unshakable truth. This perspective allows you to take risks and face challenges without the weight of self-doubt holding you back. Instead of fearing what could go wrong, you start to see every experience as a chance to grow and learn. Past conditioning is perhaps the most deeply ingrained source of self-doubt. The things we were told as children, the experiences we've had, and the societal standards we've absorbed all shape how we see ourselves. If you were criticized often, you might carry an internalized belief that you're never good enough. If you were constantly compared to others, you may feel like you're always falling short. These patterns run so deep that they become automatic, influencing your thoughts and actions without you even realizing it. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of awareness in breaking free from these patterns. By practicing mindfulness, you can begin to notice the thoughts and beliefs that arise without judging them or identifying with them. For example, when a thought like, "I'm not smart enough," appears, mindfulness allows you to see it as just a thought, not a fact. This small shift is incredibly powerful. It creates a space between you and your self-doubt, giving you the freedom to choose a different response. In addition to mindfulness, the Buddhist concept of karma provides insight into how past conditioning shapes our present. Karma isn't about punishment or reward. It's about cause and effect. The thoughts and actions you engage in repeatedly create mental habits, much like grooves on a well-worn path. If your mental habits are rooted in self-criticism and doubt, those grooves deepen, making it harder to think differently. But the good news is that these patterns are not fixed. By consciously choosing thoughts and actions that reflect self-compassion and confidence, you begin to carve new grooves, rewiring the way you respond to challenges. This process isn't easy. Letting go of attachments, facing your fears, and breaking free from past conditioning requires patience and effort. But Buddhism teaches that the journey itself is part of the transformation. Every step you take toward understanding the roots of your self-doubt brings you closer to the unshakable confidence that lies beneath it. For instance, consider the practice of metta, or loving-kindness meditation. This practice involves sending thoughts of compassion and goodwill to yourself and others. At first, it might feel awkward or even pointless, especially if you're used to being critical of yourself. But over time, metta helps to soften the harsh inner voice that fuels self-doubt. It reminds you that you are deserving of kindness, not because of what you've achieved, but simply because you exist. This shift in perspective is profound. It doesn't just counteract self-doubt, it transforms the way you see yourself entirely. Fear and doubt also thrive in isolation. When you keep your struggles hidden, they feel larger and more insurmountable. This is why Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of Sangha, or community. Surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals provides both encouragement and perspective. It's easier to challenge your self-doubt when you're reminded that you're not alone in your struggles. Others can offer insights, share their experiences, and help you see your strengths when you're unable to see them yourself. Buddhism invites you to explore the concept of anatta, or non-self. This teaching challenges the idea that you are a fixed, unchanging identity. Instead, it suggests that you are a dynamic, ever-evolving being, shaped by countless factors, but not limited by any of them. When you let go of the need to define yourself, whether as successful, smart, or even confident, you free yourself from the burden of living up to those labels. You no longer have to prove your worth, because your worth isn't something that can be measured or taken away. The journey to understanding and overcoming self-doubt isn't about erasing it completely. Doubt will still arise from time to time, but it doesn't have to control you. By recognizing its roots and applying Buddhist teachings, you can transform it into a tool for growth rather than a barrier to success. You can learn to approach life with a steady confidence that isn't swayed by fear, failure, or the opinions of others. And in that space of self-assurance, you'll find the freedom to truly be yourself. Self-doubt often thrives in the absence of self-compassion. It grows louder in the silence of neglect, when we treat ourselves with judgment rather than understanding. As we explored the roots of self-doubt, a deeper truth emerges. Overcoming this inner battle isn't just about recognizing where it comes from. It's about learning to respond to it with gentleness. The antidote to the inner critic is not force or suppression, but love. And here lies the transformative power of self-compassion, a concept beautifully embodied in the Buddhist practice of metta, or loving-kindness meditation. Self-compassion doesn't ask for perfection. It doesn't demand that you fix everything about yourself or silence every critical thought immediately. Instead, it invites you to pause, soften, and hold space for yourself in a way that you may have never done before. It's about recognizing that the harsh words you direct inward, those "you're not good enough" moments, don't define your worth. They are simply echoes of your past, fears trying to protect you, even if misguidedly. Loving kindness meditation is a practice that turns this concept into action. It begins with a simple intention: to cultivate warmth and goodwill toward yourself and others. The beauty of metta lies in its accessibility. You don't need years of meditation experience or a deep understanding of Buddhist philosophy to begin. All you need is a willingness to approach yourself with kindness, even if it feels unnatural at first. This is because self-compassion, like any skill, takes practice. But the more you engage with it, the more you begin to rewrite the narratives of self-doubt that have kept you stuck. The process often begins with offering kindness to yourself. This can feel strange or even uncomfortable, especially if you're used to being critical. For many, the hardest part of metta is extending loving kindness inward. You might hear that inner voice protesting, questioning whether you deserve such warmth. This resistance is natural, especially if your self-worth has long been tied to external validation. But here's where the practice becomes transformative. By sitting with that resistance and continuing to offer kindness anyway, you begin to dismantle the walls you've built around your heart. The phrases used in metta are simple but profound. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. These words are not about forcing positivity or ignoring your struggles. They are an acknowledgement of your humanity, a reminder that you are worthy of the same kindness you readily extend to others. Repeating these phrases creates a subtle shift in your mindset. Over time, the words become less about what you aspire to and more about what you begin to believe is already within you. This practice doesn't stop with yourself. Once you've cultivated self-compassion, metta guides you to extend that same loving kindness to others, friends, family, even strangers. Why is this important? Because self-doubt often isolates us. It makes us feel as though we are alone in our struggles, separate from the world. But the truth is, every person you meet carries their own burdens, their own fears. By offering loving kindness to others, you break down the barriers of isolation and recognize the shared humanity that connects us all. This recognition is a powerful antidote to self-doubt because it shifts your focus from "what's wrong with me" to "we are all in this together." As you deepen your metta practice, you may even be encouraged to extend kindness to those who challenge you or have caused you pain. This can feel like an impossible task at first, especially if the wounds are still fresh. But this step is not about condoning harmful behavior or invalidating your feelings. It's about releasing the grip that resentment and anger have on your heart. When you let go of these heavy emotions, you create space for healing, not just for yourself, but for your relationships and interactions with the world. Self-compassion, when nurtured through metta, begins to shift how you respond to self-doubt. Instead of fighting against it or drowning in it, you learn to meet it with curiosity and care. For example, when the voice of your inner critic tells you that you've failed, loving kindness helps you respond with, "This is a difficult moment, but it doesn't define me." This simple shift turns self-doubt into an opportunity for growth rather than a barrier to it. The science behind self-compassion supports its transformative power. Research shows that people who practice self-compassion are less likely to experience anxiety, depression, and stress. They also tend to have greater resilience, allowing them to bounce back from setbacks more effectively. This is because self-compassion provides a stable foundation for self-worth, one that isn't shaken by external circumstances. When you approach yourself with kindness, you create an internal environment where confidence can thrive. One of the most overlooked aspects of self-compassion is its relationship to accountability. Many people fear that being kind to themselves will lead to complacency, that without the harsh voice of self-criticism, they'll lose their drive to improve. But this couldn't be further from the truth. True self-compassion doesn't ignore mistakes or failures. It acknowledges them with understanding and a commitment to learn from them. It's the difference between saying, "I messed up, so I must be worthless," and saying, "I made a mistake, but I can grow from this." Loving kindness meditation also has a unique way of addressing the body-mind connection. When self-doubt takes hold, it's not just your thoughts that suffer. Your body often feels the tension as well. You might notice tightness in your chest, a racing heart, or shallow breathing. Metta provides a calming counterbalance to these physical manifestations of self-doubt. As you repeat phrases of loving kindness, your body begins to relax, your breath deepens, and a sense of peace washes over you. This physical shift reinforces the emotional healing that metta brings, creating a holistic approach to overcoming self-doubt. Practicing metta doesn't require perfection. There will be days when the words feel hollow, when the self-doubt feels louder than the kindness. But even on those days, the act of showing up for yourself matters. Each time you engage with loving kindness meditation, you are planting seeds of compassion within your mind. These seeds may take time to grow, but with patience and consistency, they will blossom into a deep, unshakable sense of self-worth. One of the most beautiful aspects of self-compassion is how it radiates outward. When you learn to treat yourself with kindness, it naturally influences how you treat others. You become more patient, understanding, and empathetic. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also reinforces your own confidence. Seeing the positive impact of your self-compassion reminds you of your capacity to create change, both within yourself and in the world around you. At its core, metta is about creating a refuge within yourself, a place where you are safe, valued, and loved, no matter what challenges you face. It's about learning to be your own source of support and strength. When self-doubt arises, as it inevitably will, you'll find that it no longer has the same power over you. Instead of pulling you down, it becomes a reminder to return to the practice of self-compassion, to reconnect with the truth of your inherent worth. Self-doubt often demands answers. It asks, "Why aren't you better? Why haven't you succeeded?" Metta offers a different response. You are enough, just as you are. This response doesn't negate the desire for growth or improvement. It simply shifts the foundation from which you pursue it. When you believe in your worth, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are, you unlock a confidence that cannot be taken away from. As you continue to explore the practice of metta, you may notice subtle but profound changes in how you approach life. Challenges feel less daunting, failures less personal. You begin to trust yourself, not because you are free of doubt, but because you've learned how to hold that doubt with kindness. This trust is the cornerstone of true confidence, a confidence rooted in self-compassion rather than external validation. The journey to overcoming self-doubt is not about erasing it completely. It's about learning to meet it with love, to see it as a part of your human experience rather than a flaw. Through the practice of metta, you create a space within yourself where doubt can exist without defining you. You learn to respond to your inner critic not with judgment, but with understanding. And in that response, you discover the power of self-compassion, a power that transforms not only how you see yourself, but how you move through the world. Self-compassion, cultivated through loving kindness, opens the heart to accept imperfections and heal the inner critic. But even as you begin to embrace yourself with care, there is a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered, a truth that dismantles the very foundation of self-doubt. It is the understanding of impermanence, one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism. The fear, the labels, and the doubts that seem so fixed and unchangeable are, in fact, as fleeting as a gust of wind. When this truth is fully grasped, self-limiting beliefs lose their grip, and the possibility of freedom becomes real. Self-doubt often feels permanent. When those negative thoughts take root, they can seem immovable, as though they define you forever. But in reality, nothing about you, your thoughts, emotions, or beliefs, remains constant. Impermanence reminds us that everything, from the smallest feeling of insecurity to the deepest fear, is in a state of constant change. This insight is both liberating and transformative, because it shows that even the heaviest self-doubt is temporary. Negative self-perceptions thrive on the illusion of permanence. When you tell yourself, "I'll always fail," or "I've never been good at this," you're attaching a sense of finality to a passing moment. These thoughts often stem from specific experiences, a failed test, a difficult relationship, or a criticism from the past. Over time, those experiences harden into beliefs, shaping how you see yourself. But impermanence teaches that these moments do not define the entirety of who you are. Just as a river changes with every passing second, so too does your identity, shaped and reshaped by each new experience. When you understand impermanence, you begin to see that clinging to self-limiting beliefs is like holding onto a handful of sand. The tighter your grip, the more it slips through your fingers. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring those beliefs or pretending they don't exist. It means loosening your hold on them, giving them the space to change and dissolve naturally. This is where the practice of mindfulness becomes crucial. By staying present with your thoughts and emotions, you can observe their transient nature. You may notice that a feeling of inadequacy arises, peaks, and then fades, much like a wave returning to the ocean. The more you witness this process, the less power those feelings hold over you. Impermanence also challenges the stories you tell yourself about your identity. Often, self-doubt is rooted in labels. I'm not smart. I'm not confident. I'm not capable. These labels can feel absolute, but they are merely narratives your mind has constructed over time. Buddhism encourages you to question these narratives and see them for what they are, temporary constructs, not eternal truths. For example, if you once struggled in a public speaking situation, your mind might label you as bad at public speaking, but that single event doesn't account for your potential to grow, learn, and improve. When you embrace impermanence, you realize that you're not confined by these labels. You are a dynamic being, constantly evolving and capable of change. Letting go of negative self-perceptions also means releasing attachment to outcomes. Self-doubt often arises when you tie your worth to specific results, getting a promotion, achieving perfection, or receiving validation from others. These outcomes become benchmarks against which you measure your value. But impermanence reveals the futility of this attachment because no outcome, no matter how desirable, can provide lasting satisfaction. The moment you achieve one goal, another takes its place, and the cycle of self-doubt begins anew. By letting go of this attachment, you free yourself to pursue growth for its own sake, without the burden of needing to prove anything. Understanding impermanence shifts your perspective on failure. Failure is often seen as a reflection of your inadequacy, a sign that you're not capable or deserving. But when viewed through the lens of impermanence, failure becomes just another moment in the ever-changing flow of life. It's not a final judgment on your abilities. It's a stepping stone, a temporary experience that offers lessons and opportunities for growth. When you stop clinging to the idea that failure defines you, you open yourself to new possibilities and take risks without fear. Another powerful aspect of impermanence is how it transforms your relationship with fear. Fear often feeds on the belief that difficult emotions or situations will last forever. When you feel overwhelmed by self-doubt, it can seem like you'll never escape its grip. But impermanence reminds you that all emotions, even the most intense ones, are temporary. They rise, they fall, and they eventually pass. This understanding allows you to face fear with courage, knowing that it won't last forever and that you have the strength to endure it. Practicing gratitude is one way to anchor yourself in the reality of impermanence. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, reminding you of the abundance in your life that is often taken for granted. It helps you appreciate the transient nature of joy and beauty, encouraging you to cherish the present moment instead of getting lost in self-doubt. When you recognize that even your struggles are temporary, you can approach them with a sense of curiosity rather than dread, finding value in the lessons they offer. The Buddhist teaching of non-attachment also plays a crucial role in releasing self-doubt. Non-attachment doesn't mean detachment or indifference. It means letting go of the need to control or cling to specific outcomes, identities, or beliefs. For example, if you attach your self-worth to being perfect, any mistake or failure can trigger intense self-doubt. But when you practice non-attachment, you learn to see mistakes as part of the human experience rather than a reflection of your worth. This perspective creates a sense of freedom, allowing you to embrace your imperfections without fear or judgment. Impermanence also invites you to cultivate a beginner's mind, a mindset of openness and curiosity. Self-doubt often arises when you approach situations with rigid expectations or assumptions about yourself. A beginner's mind, on the other hand, allows you to see each moment as new and full of potential. It encourages you to let go of past judgments and approach challenges with a sense of exploration. This mindset not only reduces self-doubt, but also fosters resilience and creativity, enabling you to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence. In the context of relationships, impermanence helps you release the need for external validation. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they seek approval from others to feel worthy. But no amount of external validation can provide lasting confidence because it is subject to change. People's opinions, like all things, are impermanent. When you base your self-worth on something so unstable, you set yourself up for constant insecurity. By recognizing this, you can shift your focus inward and cultivate a sense of self-worth that is independent of others' approval. Impermanence also encourages self-forgiveness. Holding on to guilt or shame for past mistakes is a common source of self-doubt. These emotions linger because you attach a sense of permanence to them, believing that your past actions define who you are. But when you understand that everything is constantly changing, including your capacity for growth and redemption, self-forgiveness becomes possible. You can acknowledge your mistakes, learn from them, and let them go, freeing yourself from the weight of the past. Meditation is a powerful tool for integrating the understanding of impermanence into your daily life. Through meditation, you can observe the constant flow of thoughts, emotions, and sensations, gaining direct insight into their transient nature. This practice helps you detach from negative self-perceptions and develop a sense of equanimity, a calm, balanced state of mind that remains steady even in the face of self-doubt. Over time, this equanimity becomes a source of inner strength, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace. Ultimately, impermanence offers a path to freedom. It frees you from the illusion that your self-doubt, fears, or failures are fixed and unchangeable. It reminds you that you are not defined by any single moment or experience. You are a dynamic, evolving being, capable of growth and transformation at every stage of life. By embracing this truth, you release the heavy burden of self-limiting beliefs and step into a life of greater confidence, resilience, and self-acceptance. This understanding doesn't just change how you see yourself, it changes how you move through the world with a sense of freedom and possibility that was always waiting to be discovered. Letting go of self-limiting beliefs through an understanding of impermanence brings freedom, but there's another subtle challenge that emerges as we rebuild confidence. How do we find balance? How do we embrace self-confidence without tipping into arrogance or falling back into insecurity? The answer lies in the middle way, a core principle of Buddhism that guides us toward harmony in all aspects of life. This is not about extremes, but finding the delicate balance that nurtures self-trust while remaining grounded in humility. Self-confidence, when rooted in balance, feels steady and authentic. It is neither the overinflated bravado of arrogance nor the shrinking hesitation of self-doubt. Arrogance arises when we cling to an inflated sense of self, often as a shield to protect deeper insecurities. On the other hand, insecurity stems from the belief that we are less than others, defined by our perceived flaws or failures. The middle way teaches us to transcend these extremes by embracing our inherent worth without attaching it to external validation or false pride. Walking this path begins with self-awareness. Arrogance and insecurity are often two sides of the same coin, both rooted in attachment to the self. When you identify too strongly with your successes or failures, you distort your view of who you are. The middle way invites you to see yourself clearly as you truly are, an evolving being with strengths and weaknesses, deserving of neither self-aggrandizement nor self-criticism. This perspective creates space for authentic confidence, unshaken by the highs or lows of life. One of the key teachings of the middle way is equanimity, the ability to remain centered regardless of external circumstances. Equanimity allows you to approach praise and criticism with the same calm steadiness. Instead of letting compliments inflate your ego or negative feedback crush your spirit, you can evaluate them with clarity. This doesn't mean ignoring feedback, but rather recognizing that neither praise nor criticism defines your worth. When you cultivate equanimity, you develop the resilience to navigate life's ups and downs without losing your balance. Humility is another cornerstone of the middle way. True humility isn't about diminishing yourself or denying your accomplishments. It's about understanding that your worth is not greater or lesser than anyone else's. This perspective shifts your focus from comparison to connection. Instead of competing with others or measuring yourself against their successes, you begin to see everyone as part of the same shared journey. This sense of interconnectedness not only fosters compassion, but also reinforces a balanced sense of self. Practicing mindfulness is essential for maintaining balance. Mindfulness helps you recognize when you're leaning too far toward arrogance or insecurity. For example, if you notice thoughts like, "I'm better than them," or "I'm not good enough," mindfulness allows you to step back and examine those thoughts without identifying with them. By observing your inner dialogue with curiosity rather than judgment, you can redirect your focus toward a more balanced perspective. Gratitude also plays a significant role in walking the middle way. Arrogance often stems from taking credit for everything good in your life, while insecurity arises from focusing solely on what's missing. Gratitude helps you see the full picture. It reminds you that your successes are not yours alone. They are the result of effort, support, and circumstances coming together. At the same time, gratitude helps you appreciate your strengths and acknowledge your progress, countering the pull of self-doubt. The middle way also teaches the importance of intention. Arrogance often arises from seeking validation, while insecurity stems from fearing judgment. When your actions are guided by genuine intentions rather than a desire to impress or avoid criticism, you free yourself from the extremes of ego and self-doubt. For example, when you speak up in a meeting, do you do so to assert your superiority or because you genuinely believe your input adds value? By aligning your actions with authentic intentions, you stay grounded in confidence without slipping into arrogance. Compassion for yourself and others is another key aspect of the middle way. Arrogance can make you dismissive of others' struggles, while insecurity can make you overly harsh toward your own. Compassion bridges this gap by encouraging you to approach both yourself and others with kindness. When you recognize that everyone, including yourself, is navigating challenges, it becomes easier to let go of judgment and embrace balance. Letting go of comparison is critical for walking the middle way. Whether you're comparing yourself to others out of pride or self-doubt, the result is the same: disconnection from your own path. The middle way teaches that your journey is uniquely yours, and its value doesn't depend on how it measures up to anyone else's. When you stop comparing, you free yourself to focus on growth and self-improvement, unburdened by the need to prove anything. Understanding non-attachment is vital for balancing self-confidence. Arrogance often arises from attachment to achievements, while insecurity comes from attachment to failures. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference. It means releasing the need to derive your worth from external outcomes. When you practice non-attachment, you can celebrate your successes without clinging to them and learn from your failures without being defined by them. This creates a stable foundation for confidence, one that isn't swayed by external circumstances. Self-reflection is an important tool for maintaining balance. Taking time to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and motivations helps you stay aligned with the middle way. For example, if you notice that you're seeking validation through your accomplishments, you can gently remind yourself of your inherent worth. Similarly, if you find yourself doubting your abilities, you can reflect on the progress you've made and the lessons you've learned. This ongoing process of self-awareness keeps you grounded and prevents you from drifting toward extremes. Developing patience is another crucial aspect of walking the middle way. Both arrogance and insecurity often stem from impatience, wanting to prove yourself or fearing that you'll never measure up. Patience allows you to embrace the journey rather than rushing to a destination. It reminds you that growth takes time and that confidence is built through consistent effort, not quick fixes. By practicing patience, you cultivate a sense of peace and trust in your own process. Resilience is a natural outcome of walking the middle way. When you find balance between arrogance and insecurity, you develop the strength to face challenges with grace. You no longer see setbacks as proof of inadequacy or achievements as guarantees of worth. Instead, you approach life's uncertainties with an open heart and a steady mind, confident in your ability to adapt and grow. Walking the middle way also deepens your relationships. Arrogance can create barriers, making it difficult to connect with others on a genuine level. Insecurity, on the other hand, can lead to dependence or withdrawal. The middle way fosters authenticity, allowing you to show up as your true self without pretense or fear. This authenticity strengthens your connections and creates space for mutual respect and understanding. The middle way is not about perfection, it's about practice. There will be times when you lean too far toward arrogance or insecurity, and that's okay. The key is to notice when it happens and gently guide yourself back to balance. Each time you do, you strengthen your ability to navigate life's challenges with confidence and humility. At its heart, the middle way is a path of freedom. It frees you from the need to prove yourself, the fear of falling short, and the burden of comparison. It allows you to embrace your worth without arrogance and pursue growth without insecurity. By walking this path, you cultivate a confidence that is both steady and authentic, rooted not in external validation, but in a deep understanding of yourself and your place in the world. This is the power of the middle way, a life of balance, peace, and unshakable confidence. Balancing confidence through the middle way offers clarity and stability, yet even with this balance, the whispers of self-doubt can still linger. These whispers are often subtle, slipping into your mind unnoticed until they begin to shape your thoughts and actions. The power of mindfulness lies in its ability to bring those whispers into the light, allowing you to see them for what they are, fleeting thoughts rather than defining truths. Mindfulness is not about silencing self-doubt, but about understanding it, observing its patterns, and gently dismantling its hold on you. Self-doubt thrives when your mind is pulled in multiple directions, caught between past regrets and future anxieties. You may replay old mistakes, wondering what you could have done differently, or project your fears into situations that haven't even happened yet. In doing so, you lose connection with the present moment, where your true power lies. Mindfulness offers a way back to the present, where clarity replaces confusion and self-doubt begins to lose its grip. At its core, mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment with openness and curiosity. It invites you to step out of the mental noise and observe your thoughts without judgment. This is a radical shift for many people, especially if you're used to fighting or suppressing your self-doubt. Instead of battling with those thoughts, mindfulness teaches you to simply notice them. You may realize, for instance, that a self-critical thought often arises after a challenging situation or during moments of vulnerability. This awareness is the first step toward dismantling its power. When you practice mindfulness, you create space between yourself and your thoughts. Without mindfulness, it's easy to believe that every self-critical thought is true. You might hear the inner voice saying, "You'll never succeed," and take it as a fact rather than a passing judgment. Mindfulness helps you step back and recognize that these thoughts are just mental events. They don't define you. By observing your thoughts with curiosity, you begin to see patterns in how self-doubt manifests. Perhaps it's triggered by specific situations, like public speaking or taking on a new challenge. This insight allows you to address the root causes of your doubt rather than being consumed by it. Another powerful aspect of mindfulness is its ability to anchor you in the present moment. Self-doubt often pulls you into the past or the future, replaying old failures or imagining worst-case scenarios. But in the present moment, those fears lose their power. The present moment is where you can take action, make choices, and focus on what truly matters. Mindfulness helps you redirect your attention to what is within your control right now, breaking the cycle of rumination and worry that fuels self-doubt. Breath awareness is a foundational mindfulness practice that can be particularly effective in managing self-doubt. The breath is always with you, serving as a steady anchor when your mind feels scattered. By focusing on the rhythm of your breath, you create a point of stability amidst the chaos of self-critical thoughts. When doubt arises, taking a few slow, deep breaths can help you ground yourself and regain perspective. This simple practice not only calms the mind, but also signals to your nervous system that it's safe to let go of fear and tension. Mindfulness also invites you to explore the sensations in your body, which are often overlooked when dealing with self-doubt. When doubt takes hold, it's not just a mental experience, it's physical too. You might feel a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or a heaviness in your shoulders. By tuning into these sensations, you can begin to understand how self-doubt manifests in your body. This awareness allows you to release tension and create a sense of ease, helping you respond to self-doubt with compassion rather than resistance. Self-doubt often thrives in silence, growing stronger when you avoid facing it. Mindfulness encourages you to meet your doubt head-on, not with force, but with curiosity. What does it feel like? What thoughts accompany it? What stories are you telling yourself? This process of inquiry helps you uncover the underlying beliefs that fuel your self-doubt. For instance, you might discover that your doubt stems from a fear of judgment or a need for perfection. Once these beliefs come into the light, you can begin to question their validity and loosen their hold on you. One of the most transformative aspects of mindfulness is its ability to cultivate self-compassion. As you become more aware of your self-critical thoughts, you may also notice a tendency to judge yourself for having them. Mindfulness teaches you to approach these moments with kindness instead of criticism. When doubt arises, instead of saying, "Why can't I just be more confident?" you can say, "This is a moment of struggle, and that's okay." This simple shift creates a space for healing and growth, allowing you to move forward without the weight of self-judgment. Mindfulness also helps you develop a more realistic perspective on your thoughts. Without mindfulness, it's easy to fall into the trap of catastrophizing, blowing small doubts or fears out of proportion. For example, a single mistake at work might lead you to believe that you're incompetent or that your career is doomed. Mindfulness allows you to catch these exaggerated thoughts before they spiral out of control. By observing your thoughts objectively, you can assess whether they're based on facts or fears, giving you the clarity to respond more rationally. The practice of mindfulness extends beyond formal meditation. It can be integrated into your daily life, helping you recognize and overcome self-doubt in real time. For example, when you notice self-critical thoughts arising during a meeting, you can take a moment to pause, breathe, and refocus on the task at hand. This practice of pausing helps you interrupt the cycle of doubt before it takes over, allowing you to stay present and engaged. Gratitude is another powerful mindfulness practice that counteracts self-doubt. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your attention away from what you perceive as lacking in yourself. Gratitude helps you recognize the strengths, opportunities, and support that already exist in your life. This perspective not only boosts your confidence, but also reminds you that self-doubt is not the whole story. It's just one part of a much larger picture. Mindfulness also encourages you to embrace imperfection, which is a key step in overcoming self-doubt. Self-doubt often stems from the unrealistic expectation that you must be perfect to be worthy. Mindfulness teaches you to see imperfection not as a flaw, but as a natural part of being human. When you accept yourself as you are, including your doubts and fears, you free yourself from the need to constantly prove your worth. The beauty of mindfulness is that it meets you where you are. You don't need to be free of self-doubt to practice mindfulness. In fact, doubt can be a valuable teacher within the practice. Each time you observe a self-critical thought without reacting to it, you strengthen your ability to remain present and grounded. Over time, this practice builds a foundation of inner strength and resilience, enabling you to face challenges with greater confidence and clarity. Ultimately, mindfulness is not about erasing self-doubt, but transforming your relationship with it. Through mindfulness, you learn to see doubt as a passing wave rather than a defining feature of who you are. You develop the ability to stay present and steady, even when the waters of your mind feel turbulent. This steady presence becomes the foundation for authentic confidence, a confidence rooted not in the absence of doubt, but in your ability to navigate it with awareness and compassion. By embracing mindfulness, you discover that self-doubt is not an obstacle to be feared, but an opportunity for growth. Each moment of doubt becomes an invitation to return to the present, to reconnect with your breath, and to remember your inherent worth. This practice doesn't just change how you handle self-doubt, it transforms how you see yourself and your place in the world. Through mindfulness, you reclaim your power to choose how you respond to your thoughts, creating a life of greater freedom, clarity, and confidence. Mindfulness opens the door to observing self-doubt without attachment, helping you navigate the waves of your inner dialogue with clarity and calm. Yet even as you anchor yourself in the present, there's a deeper question waiting to be addressed. Who are you beyond the labels you've collected? The world is quick to assign titles: success, failure, worthy, unworthy, and over time, these labels can become cages, limiting how you see yourself. Detaching from these labels is not about denying your experiences, but about reclaiming the freedom to define yourself beyond fleeting moments of triumph or defeat. Labels often feel absolute, shaping the way you interact with the world. When you succeed, you might feel validated, carrying the label of capable or talented, but when failure comes, as it inevitably does, those labels can flip, leaving you feeling unworthy or broken. This back and forth creates an unstable foundation for self-worth, one tied entirely to external outcomes. Buddhist principles of detachment offer a path out of this cycle, reminding you that who you are is not defined by the labels the world gives you, or the ones you give yourself. The first step in detaching from labels is recognizing how they form. Often, labels arise from isolated events, a single success that leads to the label of winner, or a single mistake that results in being branded a failure. Over time, these moments are strung together to create a narrative about who you are. But these narratives are incomplete. They focus on specific fragments of your life while ignoring the broader, ever-changing reality of your existence. When you identify too strongly with these labels, you lose sight of the truth that you are far more complex than any single word can capture. Detachment from labels doesn't mean dismissing your achievements or struggles. Instead, it means loosening the grip these labels have on your identity. For instance, if you define yourself as successful, what happens when you face a setback? The attachment to success can make failure feel catastrophic, as though it erases your worth entirely. But when you detach from the label, you can see the setback for what it truly is: a momentary experience, not a reflection of your value. This perspective allows you to move forward without the weight of self-judgment. Similarly, detaching from negative labels frees you from the burden of self-criticism. When you label yourself as not good enough or incapable, those words become self-fulfilling prophecies, influencing your actions and limiting your potential. Detachment allows you to challenge these labels, asking whether they truly reflect who you are or if they're merely echoes of past experiences. By questioning the validity of these labels, you begin to reclaim the power to define yourself on your own terms. Buddhism teaches that attachment to labels stems from the illusion of permanence. Labels feel fixed, as though they define you forever, but in reality, they are as impermanent as any other aspect of life. Your identity is not a static object. It's a dynamic process, shaped by countless experiences, choices, and interactions. Recognizing this impermanence allows you to let go of rigid definitions and embrace the fluidity of your existence. You're not your past mistakes, nor are you confined to your past successes. You're constantly evolving, and no single label can capture the entirety of who you are. Another key teaching in Buddhism is the concept of non-self, or anatta, which challenges the idea of a fixed, unchanging identity. When you attach yourself to labels, you create a false sense of self, as though you can be neatly categorized into a single word or phrase. But the truth is, there is no singular self to define. You are a collection of experiences, thoughts, and emotions, all flowing together in a continuous process of change. This understanding helps you see labels for what they are: temporary constructs, not eternal truths. Detachment from labels also transforms your relationship with others. Often the labels you adopt are influenced by external validation or comparison. You might feel proud when someone praises you as smart or talented, but you might also feel inadequate when you perceive others as more accomplished. This external focus keeps you trapped in a cycle of seeking approval and fearing rejection. By letting go of the need for validation, you free yourself from the pressure to live up to others' expectations, allowing you to define success and fulfillment on your own terms. Self-compassion plays a crucial role in this process. When you detach from labels, you may initially feel vulnerable, as though you've lost the framework that gave your life meaning. Self-compassion provides a soft landing, reminding you that your worth is not dependent on any label or achievement. It encourages you to treat yourself with kindness and understanding, even as you navigate the uncertainty of redefining your identity. Detachment also requires mindfulness, the practice of observing your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. When a label arises, whether it's failure after a mistake or success after an achievement, mindfulness allows you to pause and examine the label rather than immediately accepting it. This practice creates space for self-awareness, helping you see beyond the surface and connect with the deeper truth of who you are. Gratitude offers another pathway to detachment. When you focus on the things you appreciate in your life, you shift your attention away from labels and toward the richness of your experiences. Gratitude reminds you that your worth is not tied to specific accomplishments or setbacks, but to the broader tapestry of your existence. It helps you see the beauty in your journey, even when it doesn't align with the labels you or others might expect. Letting go of labels also opens the door to greater authenticity. When you are no longer confined by the need to be seen a certain way, you are free to show up as your true self. This authenticity fosters deeper connections with others, as they see and appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the roles or labels you might have previously felt pressured to embody. This process of detachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual unlearning of the patterns and beliefs that have shaped your sense of self. Patience and persistence are essential as you navigate this journey. Each time you notice a label arising, whether it's positive or negative, you have an opportunity to reflect and release it. Over time, these small acts of detachment create a profound shift, allowing you to experience life with greater freedom and clarity. By detaching from labels, you also cultivate resilience. Without the weight of rigid definitions, you become more adaptable, able to face challenges and uncertainties with an open mind. This resilience is not about ignoring difficulties, but about approaching them with the understanding that they do not define you. It allows you to move through life with a sense of ease and confidence, knowing that your worth is not tied to any single moment or experience. Ultimately, detaching from labels is an act of liberation. It frees you from the limitations imposed by self-doubt and external expectations, allowing you to reconnect with the deeper essence of who you are. This essence is not something that can be captured by a word or phrase. It is vast, dynamic, and ever-changing. By embracing this truth, you step into a life of greater authenticity, compassion, and freedom, unbound by the labels that once held you back. Releasing the grip of labels offers a profound sense of freedom, a chance to step beyond the limiting narratives that have long defined your worth. Yet, even when labels fade, there's another silent force that can persist: perfectionism. It whispers that you must get everything exactly right, that flaws are failures, and that you are only worthy when you meet impossibly high standards. This relentless pursuit of perfection doesn't just exhaust you, it feeds self-doubt. Buddhist wisdom reveals a different path, one that teaches you to embrace imperfections as a source of strength and confidence rather than a cause for shame. Perfection is an illusion, yet it holds a powerful sway over the way many people live their lives. You might believe that achieving perfection will bring happiness, acceptance, or peace, but in reality, this belief creates a constant state of dissatisfaction. No matter how much you achieve or how hard you try, perfection always feels just out of reach. This is because perfection is not a destination, it's a moving target defined by ever-changing standards, often influenced by societal pressures, comparisons, and unrealistic expectations. The pursuit of perfection often masks deeper fears and insecurities. You might strive to be perfect to avoid criticism, rejection, or failure. But this avoidance only deepens self-doubt, as it reinforces the idea that you are not enough as you are. Buddhism teaches that this attachment to an idealized version of yourself is a form of suffering. By clinging to the idea of perfection, you disconnect from your true self and the beauty of the present moment. Accepting imperfections begins with the practice of self-awareness. Perfectionism thrives in an environment of harsh self-criticism, where flaws are magnified and achievements are minimized. When you bring mindfulness to your thoughts and emotions, you can begin to see how perfectionism operates within you. You may notice patterns of all or nothing thinking, where anything less than perfect feels like failure. You may also become aware of the pressure you place on yourself to meet impossible standards. This awareness is the first step in breaking free from the grip of perfectionism. Self-compassion is a powerful antidote to the illusion of perfection. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you create a safe space to acknowledge your flaws without judgment. Buddhist teachings emphasize that imperfections are not something to be feared or hidden. They are an intrinsic part of being human. By embracing your imperfections, you open the door to authenticity and self-acceptance. This doesn't mean ignoring areas where you want to grow. It means recognizing that growth and imperfection can coexist. Perfectionism often leads to a fear of vulnerability. You may avoid taking risks or trying new things because you're afraid of making mistakes or being seen as less than perfect. However, Buddhist wisdom reminds us that vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a sign of courage and strength. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create opportunities for connection, learning, and growth. Vulnerability also helps you build resilience, as it teaches you to face challenges with openness rather than fear. Imperfections are often viewed as obstacles, but they can also be powerful teachers. Every mistake, setback, or flaw holds a lesson, offering you insights that perfection could never provide. Buddhism teaches that life is a constant process of learning and transformation. By shifting your perspective, you can begin to see imperfections not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. This mindset helps you approach challenges with curiosity and confidence rather than self-doubt. Letting go of perfectionism also means releasing the need for external validation. Perfectionists often seek approval from others, basing their self-worth on how they are perceived. This creates a fragile sense of confidence that can easily be shaken by criticism or rejection. Buddhist principles of non-attachment teach that true confidence comes from within, not from the opinions of others. When you detach from the need for validation, you free yourself to live authentically, guided by your own values rather than external expectations. Another key aspect of overcoming perfectionism is practicing gratitude. Perfectionism focuses on what is lacking, highlighting flaws and shortcomings. Gratitude shifts your attention to what is already present, helping you appreciate your strengths, achievements, and the progress you've made. This doesn't mean ignoring areas for improvement. It means recognizing that you are enough as you are while still striving for growth. Gratitude fosters a sense of contentment and confidence, allowing you to move forward without the weight of perfectionism. Perfectionism often creates a fear of failure, which can paralyze you and prevent you from taking action. Buddhism encourages a different approach, embracing failure as an inevitable and valuable part of life. Failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a natural outcome of effort and risk-taking. Each failure brings with it a lesson, helping you refine your skills, expand your perspective, and build resilience. When you stop fearing failure, you free yourself to pursue your goals with confidence and creativity. Mindfulness is an essential tool in dismantling the illusion of perfection. Through mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. This allows you to notice when perfectionist tendencies arise and gently redirect your focus. For example, when you catch yourself thinking, "This isn't good enough," mindfulness helps you pause and ask, "Good enough for what? Who decides what's enough?" This practice helps you challenge the assumptions that fuel perfectionism and create space for self-acceptance. One of the most liberating aspects of embracing imperfections is the way it deepens your connections with others. Perfectionism often creates a facade as you try to present an idealized version of yourself to the world. This can lead to a sense of isolation, as others may feel intimidated or disconnected from the image you project. When you allow your imperfections to show, you invite others to do the same. This vulnerability fosters authenticity and trust, strengthening your relationships and reminding you that you are not alone in your struggles. Overcoming perfectionism also involves letting go of comparison. Perfectionists often measure themselves against others, creating unrealistic standards based on external appearances. Buddhism teaches that comparison is a source of unnecessary suffering, as it distracts you from your own path and unique strengths. When you focus on your journey, rather than comparing yourself to others, you can appreciate your progress and celebrate your individuality. Another key principle in Buddhist teachings is the concept of the middle path, which encourages balance and moderation. This principle can be applied to overcoming perfectionism by finding a balance between striving for improvement and accepting imperfection. It's not about abandoning your goals or settling for mediocrity. It's about pursuing growth without attaching your worth to the outcome. The middle path helps you navigate life with a sense of ease and confidence, free from the extremes of perfectionism and self-doubt. Practicing self-forgiveness is also crucial in letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionists often hold themselves to unrealistically high standards, feeling guilt or shame when they fall short. Self-forgiveness allows you to release these feelings and move forward with compassion. It reminds you that making mistakes is part of being human and that your worth is not diminished by your imperfections. By embracing your imperfections, you also cultivate a sense of humility. Humility is not about downplaying your strengths or achievements. It's about recognizing that you are part of a larger whole. This perspective helps you let go of the ego-driven need to be perfect and instead focus on contributing to the greater good. Humility fosters a sense of interconnectedness, reminding you that everyone is on their own journey of growth and learning. Ultimately, embracing imperfections is an act of liberation. It frees you from the endless pursuit of unattainable standards, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. It creates space for authenticity, connection, and growth, helping you build confidence that is grounded in self-acceptance rather than perfection. Through Buddhist wisdom, you learn to see imperfections not as barriers, but as stepping stones on the path to a more fulfilling and confident life. Embracing imperfection brings a profound sense of relief, freeing you from the constant chase for unattainable standards. But even with this newfound clarity, there's another underlying force to confront: suffering. Self-doubt is often born from suffering, whether it's the pain of past experiences, the fear of future failures, or the dissatisfaction with who you believe you should be. Buddhist philosophy, through the Four Noble Truths, offers a framework to not only understand this suffering, but to transcend it entirely. In doing so, you uncover a clear path to authentic confidence, one that isn't tethered to circumstances or fleeting emotions, but rooted in inner peace and self-awareness. Suffering is a universal part of the human experience, and self-doubt is one of its many expressions. When you feel inadequate, unworthy, or incapable, it often stems from unresolved pain. The First Noble Truth acknowledges this reality: life contains suffering. Rather than denying or avoiding it, this truth encourages you to confront it with courage and honesty. Self-doubt, when left unexamined, festers in the shadows of avoidance. But when you bring it into the light of awareness, you begin to see it for what it truly is: an experience, not a definition of who you are. The Second Noble Truth identifies the cause of suffering: attachment and craving. In the context of self-doubt, this craving often takes the form of an insatiable desire for perfection, validation, or control. You may crave the approval of others, attaching your worth to how you're perceived. Or you may cling to an idealized version of yourself, believing that only by reaching this standard can you feel confident. These attachments create a cycle of dissatisfaction, as nothing external can ever fully satisfy your inner needs. Recognizing this truth is a pivotal step in breaking free from the grip of self-doubt. The attachment to past experiences also feeds self-doubt. Perhaps you've faced rejection or failure before, and those moments left a mark on your sense of self. You might replay these events in your mind, allowing them to shape how you see yourself in the present. The second noble truth teaches that clinging to the past only prolongs suffering. By letting go of these attachments, you create space to redefine yourself, unburdened by old wounds. The third noble truth offers hope. Suffering can end. This truth isn't about erasing challenges or never feeling self-doubt again. It's about understanding that the cycle of suffering is not inevitable. When you address the root causes of your self-doubt, your attachments, fears, and false beliefs, you begin to dissolve its power. Confidence arises naturally when you no longer tie your worth to external outcomes or internalized judgments. This isn't a fleeting confidence, but a steady, unshakable sense of self that comes from knowing you are enough, exactly as you are. The fourth noble truth provides the path to ending suffering, the noble eightfold path. This path is a practical guide, offering actionable steps to transform how you think, act, and approach life. In the context of self-doubt, the eightfold path serves as a roadmap for building confidence through wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. It's not about instant solutions, but about cultivating habits and mindsets that gradually replace doubt with self-trust. Right view, the first step of the eightfold path, encourages you to see reality clearly. Self-doubt often distorts your perception, making you focus on your flaws while ignoring your strengths. By practicing right view, you learn to see yourself and your experiences with honesty and balance. This clarity helps you recognize the patterns of thought that fuel your doubt and replace them with perspectives rooted in truth and compassion. Right intention follows, guiding you to align your thoughts and actions with your values. Self-doubt can make you second-guess your decisions, leading to hesitation and fear. Right intention helps you cut through this noise by grounding yourself in purpose. When you act with intention, you move forward with confidence, knowing that your choices reflect your true self rather than the expectations of others. Right speech, another aspect of the eightfold path, invites you to examine how you communicate, not just with others, but with yourself. Self-doubt often thrives on harsh inner dialogue, where you criticize and belittle yourself. Practicing right speech means speaking to yourself with kindness and truth. This doesn't mean ignoring areas where you want to improve, but framing your self-talk in a way that encourages growth rather than tearing yourself down. Right action and right livelihood. Further reinforce confidence by aligning your actions with ethical principles. When you act in ways that reflect integrity and kindness, you build trust in yourself. This trust is the foundation of confidence. It's not about being perfect, but about knowing that your actions are guided by values that matter to you. Right livelihood, in particular, reminds you to pursue work and activities that resonate with your sense of purpose, rather than clinging to roles or labels that don't reflect your true self. Right effort is a reminder to approach self-doubt with patience and persistence. Transforming deeply ingrained patterns of doubt requires consistent effort, but this effort doesn't need to be harsh or forceful. Buddhism teaches that right effort is about finding balance, putting in enough energy to grow without burning yourself out. This principle encourages you to celebrate small victories, recognizing that each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to lasting change. Mindfulness, as part of the Eightfold Path, is crucial for addressing self-doubt. By staying present, you can observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. Mindfulness helps you recognize when self-doubt arises and create space to respond with awareness rather than reaction. This practice not only reduces the power of self-doubt, but also strengthens your ability to remain calm and centered, even in challenging situations. The final element of the path, right concentration, cultivates focus and mental clarity. When your mind is scattered or overwhelmed by self-doubt, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Right concentration trains your mind to stay steady, allowing you to focus on your strengths and the steps you can take to build confidence. This practice doesn't eliminate doubt entirely, but equips you with the tools to navigate it with resilience and grace. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path offer a comprehensive framework for understanding and resolving self-doubt. They teach that self-doubt is not an inherent part of who you are, but a condition that arises from specific causes. By addressing these causes, your attachments, fears, and distorted perceptions, you can break free from the cycle of suffering and discover a deeper, more authentic confidence. This journey requires patience and self-compassion. There will be moments when self-doubt resurfaces, but each time it does, you have an opportunity to apply the wisdom of the Four Noble Truths. With practice, you'll find that self-doubt becomes less frequent and less overwhelming. In its place, you'll cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-trust that remains steady, no matter what challenges arise. Understanding and applying the Four Noble Truths doesn't just help you overcome self-doubt. It transforms the way you relate to yourself and the world. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. You recognize that your worth is not tied to achievements or failures, but is inherent and unchanging. This perspective frees you to live with greater confidence, authenticity, and joy, fully embracing the path to self-discovery and self-acceptance. Understanding the root causes of self-doubt through the Four Noble Truths brings clarity and a path to resolve the suffering it creates. But knowledge alone is not enough. Transformation happens through action. Every thought, every decision, and every step you take shapes the life you experience. This is where the concept of karma intertwines with mindful action. Karma, often misunderstood, is not about punishment or reward, but about the natural consequences of your intentions and actions. By aligning your actions with mindfulness and purpose, you not only influence your external circumstances, but also build the inner strength necessary to quiet self-doubt and foster unshakable self-belief. At its core, karma teaches that actions have consequences. This isn't limited to grand decisions or life-altering events. Even the smallest actions carry weight. Each choice, no matter how small, ripples outward, shaping not only the world around you, but also your perception of yourself. When you act with mindfulness, you create a positive cycle of intentionality and confidence. Mindless actions, on the other hand, often lead to chaos and uncertainty, reinforcing self-doubt. The key is cultivating awareness in everything you do, knowing that every action is an opportunity to align with your values and build a foundation of self-trust. Intentions lie at the heart of karma. It's not just what you do, but why you do it that matters. Acting from a place of fear or self-doubt reinforces those feelings, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. But when your actions are guided by positive intentions, kindness, integrity, and purpose, they naturally strengthen your sense of self. Mindful action is about pausing before you act, checking in with your intentions, and choosing a path that aligns with your values. This practice not only improves the outcomes of your actions, but also reinforces your confidence as you learn to trust your ability to make wise and thoughtful decisions. One of the most powerful aspects of karma is its emphasis on personal responsibility. When self-doubt takes hold, it's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances or believing you have no control over your life. Karma reminds you that while you cannot control everything, your actions are always within your power. This realization is both empowering and grounding. It shifts your focus from what is outside your control to what you can influence, your choices, your effort, and your response to challenges. Taking ownership of your actions builds resilience and helps you move through life with a sense of purpose and agency. Mindful action also cultivates a deeper connection to the present moment. Self-doubt often arises when your mind is preoccupied with the past or the future, dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about what's to come. When you act mindfully, you anchor yourself in the here and now, giving your full attention to what you're doing. This presence not only improves the quality of your actions, but also quiets the mental chatter that fuels self-doubt. Each mindful action becomes a reminder of your capability and worth, reinforcing a positive self-image over time. Karma encourages consistency in action, which is essential for building inner strength. Confidence doesn't come from a single moment of success. It's built through repeated actions that reflect your values and goals. Whether it's showing kindness to others, committing to personal growth, or pursuing a challenging goal, each step you take strengthens your belief in yourself. This consistency creates a sense of reliability. You learn that you can depend on yourself, no matter the circumstances. Over time, this trust becomes a source of unshakable inner strength, making self-doubt less likely to take root. The practice of mindfulness deepens your understanding of how your actions shape your inner world. For instance, when you speak harshly to yourself or others, it leaves a residue of negativity that can erode your confidence. But when you approach your thoughts, words, and actions with kindness, you create an environment where self-belief can flourish. Mindfulness helps you notice these patterns, giving you the awareness to choose actions that align with your highest self. This alignment creates a sense of harmony within you, reducing the inner conflict that often fuels self-doubt. Karma also teaches the importance of effort. Self-doubt can make you hesitant to try, fearing failure or rejection, but karma reminds you that it's not the outcome that defines you, it's the effort you put forth. Each time you take action, regardless of the result, you are reinforcing your inner strength. Effort shows you that you are capable of persistence, resilience, and growth. Over time, this focus on effort rather than outcomes shifts your perspective, allowing you to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your self-worth. Another vital aspect of mindful action is its focus on alignment with your values. When your actions are consistent with what you believe in, you experience a sense of integrity that strengthens your self-belief. For example, if you value compassion, acting with kindness toward others reinforces your identity as a compassionate person. This alignment creates a positive feedback loop where your actions build confidence and your confidence inspires further positive actions. Conversely, when you act out of alignment with your values, perhaps driven by fear or insecurity, it can deepen self-doubt and create inner conflict. Karma also highlights the interconnectedness of all actions. The choices you make don't exist in isolation. They influence your relationships, your environment, and your future. When you act with mindfulness and intention, you contribute to a ripple effect of positivity that extends beyond yourself. This awareness of interconnectedness helps you see your actions as meaningful, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It reminds you that every step you take matters, building a sense of purpose and confidence that transcends individual outcomes. Gratitude plays a significant role in building inner strength through mindful action. When you approach your actions with a sense of gratitude for your abilities, your opportunities, and the chance to contribute, you cultivate a positive mindset that reinforces self-belief. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, helping you see your actions as expressions of abundance rather than attempts to compensate for perceived deficiencies. This shift creates a foundation of self-assurance as you learn to value yourself and your efforts without the need for external validation. Mindful action also involves letting go of attachment to specific results. Karma teaches that while your actions shape your reality, you cannot control every outcome. This principle encourages you to focus on doing your best in the present moment, rather than worrying about what might happen. Letting go of attachment frees you from the anxiety of perfectionism and allows you to approach challenges with a sense of curiosity and openness. This mindset not only reduces self-doubt, but also enhances your resilience as you learn to adapt and grow regardless of the circumstances. As you align your actions with karma and mindfulness, you also develop patience. Inner strength is not built overnight. It requires consistent effort over time. Patience allows you to trust the process, knowing that each mindful action contributes to your growth. It reminds you that setbacks and challenges are part of the journey, not signs of failure. By cultivating patience, you create space for self-compassion and persistence, both of which are essential for overcoming self-doubt and building lasting confidence. Ultimately, karma and mindful action are about creating harmony within yourself and with the world around you. When your thoughts, intentions, and actions are aligned, you experience a sense of wholeness that strengthens your self-belief. This alignment is not about being perfect, but about being authentic, living in a way that reflects your values and honors your journey. Through mindful action, you learn that confidence is not something you acquire, but something you cultivate, step by step, moment by moment. It's a practice, a choice, and a reflection of your inner strength, always within your reach. Aligning actions with mindfulness and purpose builds a foundation of strength and clarity. Yet even with consistent intentional efforts, there's often a persistent voice in the background, a harsh, unrelenting critic. This voice can undermine every step forward, casting doubt on your abilities and worth. It's a voice so deeply ingrained that it feels inseparable from your identity. But Buddhism offers a way to quiet this inner critic, not through force or suppression, but by cultivating inner peace through the Noble Eightfold Path. This timeless guide not only provides tools to address self-critical thoughts, but also nurtures the calm and confidence to live free from their control. The inner critic thrives on distorted perceptions. It magnifies flaws, dismisses achievements, and fixates on unrealistic standards. The first step to silencing this voice lies in adopting right view, the foundational principle of the Eightfold Path. Right view encourages you to see yourself and the world with clarity and understanding. It invites you to challenge the assumptions that fuel your inner critic, those ingrained beliefs that whisper you're not enough. By recognizing these thoughts as impermanent and often baseless, you can begin to loosen their grip. Right view doesn't mean ignoring your shortcomings. Instead, it helps you see them in perspective as part of the human experience rather than defining characteristics. The next layer of the path, right intention, shifts your focus from self-criticism to purposeful living. The inner critic often thrives on intentions rooted in fear or perfectionism. Right intention asks you to redirect this energy toward kindness, compassion, and personal growth. It's about setting intentions that align with your values, rather than the harsh demands of the critical voice. When your actions stem from intentions of self-compassion, you naturally weaken the hold of self-judgment, creating space for inner peace and self-acceptance. Self-critical voices often echo in the way you speak to yourself, which is where right speech becomes a transformative tool. Right speech is not limited to how you communicate with others. It extends to your internal dialogue. The inner critic often speaks in absolutes. You always fail, or you'll never be good enough. Right speech teaches you to replace these harmful narratives with words of kindness, truth, and encouragement. This doesn't mean ignoring areas for improvement, but framing them in a way that fosters growth rather than shame. Instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," right speech encourages, "I'm learning, and that's enough for now." The principle of right action builds on this by aligning your behavior with integrity and compassion. When self-criticism is loud, it often leads to inaction or harmful habits as you try to escape or numb the discomfort it creates. Right action encourages you to take steps that reflect your true values, even in the face of doubt. Each small, positive action reinforces your belief in yourself and chips away at the power of the inner critic. This alignment between your values and actions creates a sense of coherence that leaves little room for self-doubt to fester. Right livelihood expands this practice into the broader context of your life. The inner critic often finds fertile ground in environments that don't align with your values or bring out the best in you. Right livelihood encourages you to evaluate whether your daily pursuits, whether work, relationships, or habits, support your well-being. By creating a life that reflects your principles, you reduce the tension that feeds self-criticism and cultivate an environment where inner peace can thrive. This principle reminds you that the conditions you surround yourself with play a significant role in shaping your inner world. Right effort is especially powerful in silencing the inner critic, as it focuses on balancing persistence with self-compassion. The critical voice often demands perfection, pushing you to overextend yourself or give up entirely when you fall short. Right effort teaches you to approach growth with patience and consistency, recognizing that progress is a journey, not a destination. It encourages you to let go of the all-or-nothing mindset, embracing small, meaningful steps toward your goals. This balanced effort helps you build resilience as you learn to trust in your ability to grow without the weight of harsh judgment. Mindfulness, or right mindfulness, is at the heart of quieting the inner critic. The critical voice often operates on autopilot, whispering negative thoughts that go unnoticed until they take root. Mindfulness allows you to bring these thoughts into awareness, observing them without judgment. When you notice self-critical thoughts, mindfulness creates a pause, a moment to question their validity and choose a different response. This practice helps you detach from the inner critic seeing it as a pattern of thought rather than a reflection of truth. With mindfulness, you cultivate the ability to respond to yourself with compassion instead of reacting with judgment. Right. Concentration, the final element of the Eightfold Path, strengthens your ability to focus and maintain inner calm. The inner critic often thrives in a scattered, distracted mind, where negative thoughts can easily spiral out of control. Right. Concentration trains you to direct your attention purposefully, grounding yourself in the present moment. Through practices like meditation or focused breathing, you develop the mental clarity to recognize when the inner critic arises and redirect your focus toward thoughts and actions that nurture self-belief. This steady focus becomes a shield against the chaos of self-doubt, allowing you to remain rooted in inner peace. Applying the Eightfold Path to silence the inner critic is not about eliminating self-awareness or denying areas for growth. It's about transforming the way you relate to yourself, replacing harsh judgment with curiosity and care. The critical voice often pretends to protect you, claiming to keep you motivated or shield you from failure. But in truth, it only creates more suffering. The Eightfold Path offers a way out of this cycle, showing you how to cultivate confidence and peace through intentional, mindful living. Each step of the path reinforces the others, creating a holistic approach to addressing self-criticism. Right view and right intention provide the foundation, helping you see yourself clearly and align your actions with compassion. Right speech and right action guide how you treat yourself, encouraging kindness in both words and deeds. Right livelihood and right effort shape the conditions of your life, ensuring they support your well-being and growth. Finally, right mindfulness and right concentration equip you with the tools to stay present and focused, creating a mental environment where self-belief can flourish. The process of quieting the inner critic is not about perfection or instant transformation. It's a journey of small, consistent choices that gradually reshape the way you see yourself. Each time you choose to speak kindly to yourself, act with integrity, or focus on the present moment, you weaken the power of the critical voice and strengthen your inner peace. Over time, this practice creates a profound shift, allowing you to move through life with confidence, clarity, and self-compassion. Through the guidance of the Eightfold Path, you discover that the inner critic is not a fixed part of who you are. It is a habit that can be unlearned, replaced by a voice of kindness and truth that supports your journey toward a more peaceful and confident self. Silencing the inner critic brings a sense of calm and clarity, allowing you to hear your true voice over the noise of self-judgment. Yet, even with this progress, another subtle trap often lurks in the background: the reliance on external validation. Whether it's the approval of others, societal standards, or even fleeting recognition, this dependence can quietly shape how you view yourself. Confidence that depends on external validation is fragile, swaying with every opinion, achievement, or failure. Buddhist principles of non-attachment reveal a path to deeper, more enduring self-confidence, one that is grounded in your intrinsic worth rather than the approval of others or the pursuit of perfection. Attachment to external validation begins early, reinforced by the idea that your value is tied to how you're perceived. Compliments, awards, or praise can feel like affirmations of your worth, while criticism or rejection can feel like proof of inadequacy. Over time, this external focus creates a dependency that leaves you vulnerable to the ever-changing opinions of others. Non-attachment challenges this cycle, teaching you to find confidence not in the shifting tides of external feedback, but in the steady foundation of self-awareness and inner peace. At its core, non-attachment is not about rejecting or avoiding external validation. It's about understanding its impermanence. Compliments may feel good in the moment, but they are fleeting. Likewise, criticism may sting, but it doesn't define you. When you detach from the need for validation, you free yourself from the emotional highs and lows that come with relying on others for approval. This freedom allows you to focus on your own values, goals, and growth, rather than constantly seeking reassurance from outside sources. Non-attachment begins with recognizing how much power you give to external opinions. When someone praises you, it might lift your mood for hours or even days. But when someone criticizes you, it might linger far longer, overshadowing any positive feedback you've received. This imbalance reveals how attachment to validation can distort your sense of self. Non-attachment encourages you to take a step back and observe these reactions. It's not about ignoring feedback entirely, but about putting it into perspective. Feedback, whether positive or negative, is simply information, not a verdict on your worth. Building unshakable confidence through non-attachment also involves redefining your sources of fulfillment. When your sense of accomplishment is tied solely to external recognition, it becomes fragile, dependent on circumstances beyond your control. Non-attachment shifts your focus inward, helping you find fulfillment in the process rather than the outcome. Whether you're working toward a goal, learning a new skill, or simply making an effort, the act itself becomes a source of confidence. This internal focus creates a resilience that external validation cannot provide, as it's rooted in your own efforts and values. Another key aspect of non-attachment is releasing the fear of judgment. The need for validation often stems from a desire to avoid criticism or rejection. This fear can hold you back, keeping you from taking risks or expressing yourself authentically. Non-attachment teaches you that judgment, whether real or imagined, is a reflection of the other person's perspective, not an absolute truth about you. When you let go of the fear of being judged, you create space to show up fully without the weight of others' opinions dictating your actions. Non-attachment also transforms your relationship with failure. When you're attached to external validation, failure can feel devastating, as though it defines your worth. But through non-attachment, failure becomes a natural part of growth, an experience to learn from rather than a measure of your value. This perspective allows you to take risks, try new things, and pursue your goals with confidence, knowing that your worth is not tied to the outcome. Each failure becomes an opportunity to strengthen your resilience and deepen your self-belief. Practicing non-attachment requires mindfulness, as it helps you become aware of when you're seeking validation or reacting to external feedback. Mindfulness allows you to pause and ask yourself, am I doing this for my own growth or to gain approval? This awareness helps you make choices that align with your values rather than being driven by the need for validation. Over time, this practice builds a sense of autonomy and self-trust as you learn to rely on your own judgment rather than external opinions. Self-compassion is another vital element of non-attachment. When you detach from external validation, you may feel vulnerable at first, as though you've lost a safety net. Self-compassion provides the reassurance and support that validation once offered, reminding you that your worth is inherent and unchanging. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding, you create a stable foundation for confidence that doesn't rely on external approval. This practice helps you navigate moments of doubt or criticism with grace, knowing that your value is not up for debate. Non-attachment also involves letting go of comparisons. The need for validation often leads to measuring yourself against others, creating a sense of inadequacy or superiority depending on the comparison. But comparisons are inherently flawed. They focus on surface-level achievements while ignoring the deeper, unique aspects of each person's journey. Non-attachment helps you shift your focus inward, appreciating your own progress and strengths without needing to outshine or match anyone else. This self-focus fosters a quiet confidence, rooted in authenticity rather than competition. Gratitude plays a powerful role in cultivating non-attachment. When you're grateful for who you are and what you have, you're less likely to seek validation from external sources. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what you lack to what you appreciate, creating a sense of contentment that external approval cannot provide. By focusing on the abundance in your life, you build a confidence that is grounded in reality rather than fleeting praise or comparisons. Non-attachment also encourages you to redefine success. When success is tied to external recognition, it becomes a fragile and often elusive goal. But when you define success based on your own values and efforts, it becomes something you can achieve every day. Whether it's showing kindness, staying true to your principles, or making progress toward a personal goal, success becomes a reflection of your inner growth rather than external validation. This shift creates a deeper, more lasting sense of confidence, as it's based on factors you can control. Letting go of external validation doesn't mean isolating yourself or ignoring feedback entirely. It's about creating a healthy balance where feedback is taken into account but doesn't dictate your worth. Non-attachment allows you to listen to others' perspectives with an open mind, without feeling compelled to meet their expectations. This balanced approach helps you grow while maintaining a strong sense of self, as you learn to discern which feedback aligns with your values and which does not. The practice of non-attachment also cultivates resilience. When your confidence isn't tied to external validation, you're less affected by setbacks, criticism, or rejection. This resilience allows you to bounce back from challenges with a sense of strength and determination, knowing that your worth remains intact. Non-attachment doesn't eliminate difficulties, but equips you to face them with a steady, unshakable confidence that comes from within. Ultimately, non-attachment is about reclaiming your power. It's a shift from living for others' approval to living in alignment with your own values and truth. This journey requires courage, as it asks you to let go of familiar patterns and step into a new way of being. But in doing so, you discover a confidence that is not dependent on the fleeting opinions of others, but is grounded in the enduring truth of who you are. Through non-attachment, you find the freedom to live authentically, with a confidence that no external circumstance can shake. Letting go of external validation allows you to reclaim your inner power, anchoring your confidence in the unshakable foundation of self-awareness and authenticity. But as you release the need for others' approval, a new question arises. How do you build an enduring trust in yourself? This trust is not based on fleeting achievements or perfection, but on a deep alignment with qualities that inspire not only inner confidence, but also a profound sense of purpose. Cultivating the qualities of a bodhisattva, compassion, wisdom, and courage, offers a transformative path. These qualities, rooted in Buddhist philosophy, provide the tools to dissolve self-doubt and build unwavering self-trust. Trusting yourself begins with compassion, both toward yourself and others. Self-doubt often arises from harsh self-judgment, the belief that you are somehow not enough. Compassion counters this by encouraging you to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. When you embrace your imperfections with understanding instead of criticism, you create space for growth and resilience. Compassion isn't about excusing mistakes or avoiding accountability. It's about acknowledging your humanity and recognizing that setbacks are part of every journey. This gentle approach softens the grip of self-doubt, reminding you that you are deserving of trust and forgiveness. Compassion also extends outward, shaping the way you interact with others. When you practice compassion in your relationships, you reinforce your own sense of purpose and integrity. Acting with kindness and empathy toward others not only strengthens your connections, but also deepens your belief in your ability to contribute meaningfully to the world. Each compassionate action is a reminder that you have the capacity to make a positive impact, building trust in your inherent worth. Wisdom, the second bodhisattva quality, is equally essential for cultivating self-trust. Wisdom is not about accumulating knowledge, but about understanding the deeper truths of life and applying them with discernment. Self-doubt often stems from a lack of clarity, uncertainty about who you are, what you want, or how to navigate challenges. Wisdom provides the clarity to see beyond surface-level fears and insecurities, helping you make decisions that align with your values and goals. This alignment creates a sense of inner coherence, reinforcing your trust in your own judgment. Wisdom also involves recognizing the impermanence of all things, including self-doubt. When you see that doubts and fears are temporary, you are less likely to be overwhelmed by them. Instead of clinging to these feelings as fixed truths, you can observe them with detachment, knowing they will pass. This perspective allows you to act with confidence even in the face of uncertainty, trusting in your ability to adapt and grow. Another aspect of wisdom is self-awareness. Trusting yourself requires an honest understanding of your strengths, limitations, and motivations. Self-awareness helps you navigate life with authenticity, as you are no longer trying to meet unrealistic expectations or hide behind a facade. This honesty fosters a deep sense of self-respect, which is the foundation of self-trust. When you know who you are and accept yourself fully, you no longer need external validation to feel secure. Courage, the third bodhisattva quality, is the bridge that turns compassion and wisdom into action. Trusting yourself means having the courage to take risks, face challenges, and step outside your comfort zone. Self-doubt often holds you back, whispering that you might fail or fall short. Courage doesn't eliminate fear, but gives you the strength to move forward despite it. Each act of courage, no matter how small, reinforces your belief in your own resilience, building trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Courage also involves embracing vulnerability. It takes courage to show up authentically, to express your true self without fear of judgment. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but it is, in fact, a profound source of strength. When you allow yourself to be seen as you are, flaws, fears, and all, you build deeper connections with others and with yourself. This authenticity creates a sense of trust that is unshakable because it is rooted in truth rather than pretense. Compassion, wisdom, and courage are not abstract ideals. They are qualities you can cultivate through intentional practice. Meditation, for example, is a powerful tool for nurturing these qualities. A loving kindness meditation can help you develop compassion, while mindfulness meditation enhances wisdom by increasing your awareness of thoughts and emotions. Reflecting on past experiences where you demonstrated courage can inspire you to take bold steps in the present. Each of these practices strengthens your ability to trust yourself, as they remind you of the qualities you already possess. Gratitude also plays a significant role in cultivating bodhisattva qualities. When you focus on what you appreciate in yourself and others, you naturally nurture compassion and wisdom. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what's lacking to what's abundant, reinforcing your belief in your own worth and capabilities. It also encourages you to approach challenges with a sense of possibility rather than fear, as you recognize the strengths and resources you already have. Applying these qualities in daily life further deepens self-trust. Compassion can guide how you respond to setbacks, wisdom can shape your decisions, and courage can propel you forward even when the path is unclear. Each time you act with these qualities, you strengthen your confidence in your ability to navigate life with grace and integrity. This trust is not about being perfect, but about knowing you can rely on yourself no matter what challenges arise. Cultivating bodhisattva qualities also transforms your relationship with others. Compassion fosters understanding and connection. Wisdom helps you navigate conflicts with clarity, and courage allows you to set boundaries and stand up for your values. These qualities not only enhance your interactions, but also reinforce your belief in your ability to contribute meaningfully to the world. This sense of purpose further strengthens your self-trust, as you see yourself as a valuable part of a larger whole. Over time, embodying compassion, wisdom, and courage becomes second nature. These qualities are not something you have to force or strive for. They become a natural expression of who you are. This integration creates a deep sense of inner peace and confidence, as you trust in your ability to navigate life with authenticity and purpose. Through the practice of cultivating bodhisattva qualities, you transform self-doubt into self-trust, building a foundation for a life of resilience, connection, and fulfillment. Cultivating compassion, wisdom, and courage strengthens the foundation of self-trust, creating an inner sanctuary where doubt and fear can no longer dominate. However, even with this inner growth, a subtle but pervasive challenge often remains: comparison. The habit of measuring yourself against others can quietly erode your confidence, fueling envy, resentment, and feelings of inadequacy. Comparison steals your focus from your own journey and binds your sense of worth to external benchmarks. Buddhist wisdom offers a way to release this cycle, allowing you to shift your energy inward and discover the freedom and fulfillment that come from embracing your unique path. Comparison often begins with the illusion of separation. You see yourself as distinct from others, and this perception leads to judgment. Who has more? Who is better? Who is ahead? This habit creates a mental hierarchy, where someone is always above or below you. Buddhist teachings emphasize the interconnectedness of all beings, reminding you that the divisions you see are constructs of the mind. When you see others as part of a shared human experience, rather than as competitors, the need to compare dissolves. This shift in perspective allows you to approach relationships with openness and compassion rather than envy or insecurity. Envy arises when you focus on what others have that you lack, whether it's material possessions, talents, or achievements. This fixation blinds you to your own strengths and blessings, leaving you trapped in a mindset of scarcity. Buddhist philosophy encourages gratitude as an antidote to envy. Gratitude redirects your attention to what is already present in your life, cultivating a sense of abundance and contentment. When you appreciate your unique qualities and circumstances, You no longer feel the need to measure yourself against others. Gratitude becomes a practice of self-affirmation, helping you see that your worth is not diminished by someone else's success. Another root of comparison is the belief that your value is determined by external achievements. Society often reinforces this idea, equating worth with accolades, possessions, or status. Buddhist wisdom challenges this notion by teaching the principle of non-attachment. Letting go of the need for external validation frees you from the cycle of comparison, as you no longer tie your identity to how you stack up against others. Instead, you find fulfillment in aligning your actions with your values and focusing on your personal growth. This inward focus strengthens your confidence as it is grounded in authenticity rather than competition. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for overcoming the habit of comparison. The act of comparing often happens unconsciously, a reflexive reaction to what you see or hear. Mindfulness brings this habit into awareness, allowing you to pause and reflect on its impact. When you notice yourself comparing, you can ask, "What am I seeking? What do I already have?" This practice helps you uncover the deeper insecurities driving your comparisons, giving you the clarity to address them directly. Mindfulness also shifts your focus to the present moment, where your unique journey unfolds without the distortion of comparison. Buddhist teachings emphasize the impermanence of all things, including the qualities you envy in others. The beauty, success, or recognition you see in someone else is not a fixed state. It changes, just as your circumstances do. Recognizing impermanence helps you release the grip of envy, as you understand that no one's life is static or perfect. This perspective fosters compassion, as you realize that everyone faces their own struggles, and that the outward appearance of success often conceals deeper challenges. Compassion dissolves the barriers created by comparison, replacing them with a sense of shared humanity. Overcoming envy also requires letting go of the belief that life is a zero-sum game. When you view success as limited, someone else's achievements can feel like a threat to your own. Buddhist wisdom teaches that the success of others does not diminish your potential. It highlights the possibilities available to everyone. This mindset shifts your perspective from competition to inspiration, allowing you to celebrate others' accomplishments without feeling inadequate. By seeing others as allies rather than rivals, you create a supportive environment where everyone can thrive. Cultivating joy for others, known as mudita in Buddhist practice, is a transformative way to overcome envy. Mudita is the ability to take genuine pleasure in the happiness and success of others. This practice requires shifting your focus from what you lack to the positive experiences of those around you. By celebrating their achievements, you create a sense of connection and abundance that benefits everyone, including yourself. Mudita is not about denying your own desires, but about expanding your capacity for joy, recognizing that happiness is not diminished when shared. Letting go of comparison also involves embracing your uniqueness. When you focus on what makes you different, you realize that your path cannot be measured against anyone else's. Each person has their own strengths, challenges, and timing, and comparing one journey to another is like comparing the growth of different trees in a forest. By honoring your individuality, you free yourself from the pressure to conform to external standards or timelines. This self-acceptance fosters confidence as you learn to trust in the value of your unique contributions. Buddhist teachings encourage detachment from ego, which often fuels the desire to compare. The ego seeks validation through superiority or avoids discomfort by emphasizing inferiority. Both dynamics perpetuate the cycle of comparison, keeping you focused on external measures of worth. Detaching from ego allows you to see beyond this duality, embracing a sense of self that is not defined by comparison. This perspective creates a profound inner peace, as you no longer feel the need to prove yourself or compete for validation. The practice of self-reflection is another powerful tool for overcoming comparison. Regularly examining your thoughts and feelings helps you identify patterns of envy and insecurity, giving you the insight needed to address them. Self-reflection also reminds you of your progress, helping you see how far you've come rather than focusing on where you feel lacking. This practice shifts your attention from external benchmarks to your personal growth, reinforcing a sense of accomplishment and self-trust. Overcoming comparison also requires patience. The habit of comparing yourself to others is deeply ingrained and often reinforced by societal norms. It takes time to unlearn this pattern and replace it with healthier perspectives. Patience allows you to approach this process with compassion, recognizing that progress is gradual and that each step forward is meaningful. This gentle persistence helps you build a foundation of confidence that is unshaken by the ups and downs of life. Ultimately, seeing beyond comparison is about shifting your focus inward. When you let go of the need to measure yourself against others, you create space to explore your own values, passions, and goals. This inward focus allows you to live authentically, guided by your unique path rather than external standards. Buddhist wisdom teaches that true confidence comes not from being better than others, but from embracing who you are, imperfections and all. By releasing the habit of comparison, you discover a freedom and fulfillment that no external measure can provide. Through this practice, you transform envy into gratitude, competition into connection, and self-doubt into unwavering self-belief. Releasing the habit of comparison shifts your focus inward, allowing you to embrace your journey with authenticity and gratitude. Yet, beneath the layers of self-doubt, comparison, and external validation lies a deeper narrative. The stories you tell yourself about who you are. These narratives, shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, and limiting beliefs, create a rigid identity that often holds you back. To truly free yourself from these false constructs, Buddhist teachings offer the profound practice of anatta, or non-self. This principle invites you to examine the idea of a fixed self, and in doing so, liberate yourself from the constraints of self-imposed limitations. The concept of non-self can feel unsettling at first. We are often taught to define ourselves through labels, roles, achievements, failures, or even traits like smart, kind, or not good enough. These labels become the foundation of your identity, shaping how you view yourself and your place in the world. But Buddhist philosophy challenges this idea, reminding us that the self is not a fixed entity. Instead, it is a collection of ever-changing experiences, thoughts, and actions. When you begin to see the self as fluid rather than static, you open the door to profound transformation. False narratives thrive on the illusion of permanence. For instance, if you've been told you're not capable in a certain area, that belief may become a defining part of your identity. You might avoid opportunities, convinced that you're bound to fail. But through the lens of non-self, you realize that these beliefs are not permanent truths. They are simply stories you've carried. They can be rewritten, reshaped, or even discarded altogether. Anatta empowers you to break free from these limitations by understanding that your identity is not set in stone. Practicing non-self involves observing your thoughts and recognizing them as fleeting and impersonal. When self-critical thoughts arise, instead of internalizing them as, "I am not good enough," you can see them as temporary mental events. This shift in perspective creates space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to question their validity. Are these thoughts based on current reality, or are they echoes of past experiences or external influences? By detaching from these narratives, you begin to dismantle the barriers they create. The principle of non-self also encourages you to examine the sources of your limiting beliefs. Many of these beliefs are inherited, passed down by family, culture, or society. You might have internalized expectations about what success looks like, who you should be, or how you should act. These expectations can feel like part of your identity, but they are often external constructs. When you practice non-self, you learn to separate these influences from your true nature, freeing yourself to define your path on your own terms. One powerful way to practice non-self is through mindfulness. By bringing awareness to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, you can begin to see how they arise and fade. This practice helps you understand that no single thought or emotion defines you. For example, feeling fear or doubt in a moment does not mean you are inherently fearful or doubtful. It's simply an experience passing through. This perspective allows you to navigate challenges with greater ease, as you are no longer weighed down by a fixed identity tied to past moments. Non-self also invites you to let go of the need for control. Often, we cling to a sense of self as a way to feel secure, trying to control how others perceive us or how life unfolds. But this clinging creates tension and resistance, as life is inherently unpredictable. By embracing non-self, you learn to flow with life's changes, trusting in your ability to adapt rather than trying to maintain a rigid sense of self. This flexibility fosters resilience and a deeper sense of inner peace. Another aspect of non-self is recognizing that you are not defined by your achievements or failures. Successes can feel validating and failures can feel crushing, but both are fleeting. They do not add to or take away from your inherent worth. When you detach from the idea that your value is tied to outcomes, you free yourself from the pressure to prove yourself. This detachment allows you to pursue goals with joy and curiosity rather than fear or desperation, as your sense of self is no longer at stake. Non-self also transforms your relationships. When you let go of the need to uphold a specific identity, you become more open and authentic with others. You no longer feel the need to impress, compare, or hide parts of yourself. This authenticity fosters deeper connections, as it invites others to be equally genuine. By seeing both yourself and others as fluid, ever-changing beings, you approach relationships with compassion and understanding rather than judgment or expectation. The practice of non-self encourages you to embrace impermanence. Just as your thoughts and emotions are not fixed, neither is your sense of self. This impermanence can be a source of freedom rather than fear, as it reminds you that you are not bound by your past. Each moment is an opportunity to redefine yourself, to grow, and to let go of what no longer serves you. This perspective allows you to approach life with a sense of curiosity and openness, knowing that you are not limited by who you were yesterday. Gratitude plays a significant role in practicing non-self. By focusing on the present moment and appreciating what is, you shift your attention away from rigid narratives about who you should be. Gratitude helps you see the beauty in your journey, even in its imperfections. It reminds you that you are not defined by your struggles or shortcomings, but by your capacity to grow and adapt. This mindset fosters a deep sense of self-compassion and trust in your ability to navigate life's challenges. The ultimate gift of practicing non-self is freedom. When you let go of the idea of a fixed identity, you free yourself from the limitations that come with it. You are no longer confined by labels, expectations, or fears. Instead, you are open to infinite possibilities, able to approach life with a sense of wonder and creativity. This freedom allows you to trust in your inherent worth, knowing that it is not dependent on external factors or fleeting moments. Through the practice of anatta, you uncover a profound sense of liberation, transforming self-doubt into unshakable self-belief. Detaching from the rigid narratives of a fixed identity opens the door to freedom, allowing you to embrace growth and self-discovery without the weight of old stories holding you back. But even as you step into this newfound liberation, the mind can remain restless. A constant hum of thoughts, worries, and uncertainties can creep in, undermining your clarity and confidence. To sustain this inner freedom, the mind must find stillness. A calm mind becomes the anchor that holds you steady, providing clarity in moments of doubt and resilience in the face of challenges. Through the practice of meditation, this stillness is cultivated, offering not only peace, but a profound foundation for unshakable confidence. A calm mind does not mean an absence of thoughts, but rather a shift in how you relate to them. The restless chatter of the mind often feeds self-doubt, creating an endless loop of questioning your abilities or fearing the worst. Meditation teaches you to observe these thoughts without judgment, understanding that they are simply mental events passing through. This practice creates a space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to see them for what they are, temporary and often untrue. As this awareness grows, the grip of self-doubt loosens, replaced by a quiet confidence rooted in clarity. Meditation also fosters a sense of presence, grounding you in the here and now. Self-doubt thrives when your mind is preoccupied with the past or the future, replaying old mistakes or worrying about what might go wrong. When you are present, you can fully engage with the moment at hand, free from the distractions of regret or fear. This presence not only quiets the noise of self-doubt, but also allows you to approach challenges with greater focus and effectiveness. Confidence grows naturally when your energy is fully directed toward what you can do now, rather than being scattered across time. The practice of mindfulness, a cornerstone of meditation, strengthens your ability to notice the patterns of your mind. Often, self-doubt arises from deeply ingrained habits of thought, automatic reactions that go unnoticed. Mindfulness brings these patterns into the light, giving you the power to change them. For instance, you might notice a tendency to focus on your perceived shortcomings or to dismiss your accomplishments. By becoming aware of these habits, you can actively choose to redirect your attention toward more supportive and empowering thoughts. This shift transforms your mental landscape, building a foundation of positivity and self-belief. Meditation also cultivates emotional regulation, which is essential for maintaining confidence. The ups and downs of life can trigger strong emotions such as fear, frustration, or disappointment that can shake your sense of self. Through meditation, you learn to sit with these emotions without being overwhelmed by them. This practice helps you develop emotional resilience as you realize that no feeling is permanent and that you have the capacity to navigate even the most difficult moments. This resilience becomes a source of confidence as you trust in your ability to handle whatever life brings. Another benefit of meditation is the clarity it brings to your inner world. A cluttered mind, filled with conflicting thoughts and worries, can make it difficult to see your strengths or make decisions with confidence. Meditation clears this mental clutter, creating a sense of spaciousness and focus. With this clarity, you can approach your goals and challenges with a sense of purpose and direction, free from the confusion and hesitation that often accompany self-doubt. This clarity becomes a guiding force, helping you move forward with confidence even in uncertain situations. Breath awareness, a common practice in meditation, plays a significant role in calming the mind. The breath is a constant in your life, a steady rhythm that anchors you to the present moment. By focusing on your breath, you create a point of stability amidst the chaos of thoughts and emotions. This focus not only calms the mind, but also reminds you of your inner strength, the quiet power that comes from simply being present and aware. Each breath becomes a reminder of your ability to find peace and confidence within yourself, regardless of external circumstances. Meditation also encourages self-compassion, a key ingredient in building confidence. The practice of sitting with yourself without judgment or expectation nurtures a sense of kindness and acceptance toward who you are. This self-compassion counteracts the harsh inner critic that often fuels self-doubt, replacing it with a supportive and understanding inner voice. As you develop this relationship with yourself, your confidence grows naturally, as it is rooted in self-acceptance rather than external validation or perfection. Consistency in meditation practice reinforces these benefits over time. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body, regular meditation strengthens the mind, creating a foundation of inner calm that becomes increasingly unshakable. This consistency helps you develop a deep trust in your ability to find peace and clarity, even in the midst of challenges. Over time, this trust becomes a source of confidence as you learn to rely on your inner resources rather than being swayed by external circumstances. Meditation also connects you to a sense of purpose. In the stillness of meditation, you can reflect on what truly matters to you, beyond the noise of societal expectations or fleeting desires. This connection to your values and purpose creates a strong sense of direction, which is a cornerstone of confidence. When you are clear about what you stand for and what you aim to achieve, you can move through life with a sense of conviction that's unaffected by self-doubt or external criticism. The practice of loving-kindness meditation, or metta, adds another layer of confidence building by fostering a sense of interconnectedness. By extending wishes of kindness and well-being to yourself and others, you create a mindset of abundance and compassion. This practice shifts your focus from fear and insecurity to connection and generosity, reminding you that confidence is not about proving yourself, but about contributing to the greater good. This shift in perspective transforms the way you see yourself and your place in the world, fostering a deep and lasting sense of self-assurance. Meditation also helps you cultivate patience, both with yourself and with the process of growth. Confidence is not built overnight. It is a journey that requires persistence and self-compassion. Meditation teaches you to embrace this journey, finding value in each step rather than rushing toward a destination. This patience allows you to approach challenges with a sense of calm and resilience, knowing that progress is made through consistent effort and that setbacks are simply part of the process. The calm mind nurtured through meditation becomes a source of strength in every aspect of life. It allows you to approach situations with clarity, respond to challenges with composure, and connect with others authentically. This inner calm is not a passive state, but an active foundation from which confidence naturally arises. Through meditation, you discover that true confidence is not about eliminating fear or doubt, but about finding stability and trust within yourself. This trust becomes your anchor, guiding you through life with grace, purpose, and unshakable self-belief. A calm mind offers clarity and strength, creating a foundation for confidence that is unshakable in the face of life's uncertainties. Yet even with this inner stillness, fear can creep in, particularly the fear of failure. This fear, often rooted in attachment to outcomes and self-worth, can paralyze growth, holding you back from taking risks or pursuing meaningful goals. Buddhist teachings on detachment offer a powerful antidote, guiding you to see failure not as a reflection of your worth, but as an essential and natural part of growth. By learning to embrace failure with openness and detachment, you unlock the courage to step forward, regardless of the outcome. Fear of failure often stems from attaching your identity to success or achievement. When you believe that your worth is tied to the results of your actions, failure becomes a threat to your sense of self. This attachment magnifies the fear, making even small setbacks feel overwhelming. Buddhist detachment teaches you to separate your identity from external outcomes. You are not your achievements or failures. These are simply experiences that come and go, like waves in the ocean. By releasing this attachment, you create space to engage fully with your efforts without the weight of fearing what might happen. Detachment does not mean indifference or apathy. It is not about giving up on your goals or ceasing to care about the outcome. Instead, it is about shifting your focus from the results to the process. When you invest your energy in the actions you take, rather than in controlling the outcome, you free yourself from the emotional weight of failure. This mindset allows you to approach challenges with curiosity and openness, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than as tests of your worth. Failure often carries a stigma, reinforced by societal expectations that prioritize success and perfection. This external pressure can make failure feel like something to avoid at all costs. Buddhist detachment offers a different perspective, one that sees failure as a teacher rather than an enemy. Each failure holds valuable lessons, providing insights into what works, what doesn't, and how to adapt. When you detach from the fear of judgment or shame, you can approach failure with a mindset of learning and resilience. This shift not only reduces the emotional weight of failure, but also strengthens your ability to grow and improve. Another aspect of overcoming the fear of failure is letting go of the need for control. Often, fear arises from the belief that you must control every outcome to succeed. This need for control creates tension and anxiety, as life is inherently unpredictable. Buddhist detachment teaches you to release this need, trusting in the flow of life. When you let go of the illusion of control, you can focus on what is within your power, your actions, efforts, and intentions, while accepting that the outcome is not entirely in your hands. This acceptance brings a sense of peace and freedom, allowing you to act with confidence even in uncertain situations. The fear of failure is also fueled by self-judgment, the inner voice that criticizes and undermines your efforts. This voice often amplifies mistakes, making them feel catastrophic. Detachment helps you step back from this inner critic, recognizing it as just another passing thought rather than a reflection of truth. By observing these self-critical thoughts with detachment, you can choose not to engage with them, redirecting your focus toward constructive actions instead. This practice weakens the power of self-judgment, allowing you to approach failure with self-compassion and resilience. Detachment also transforms your relationship with success, which is often seen as the opposite of failure. When success becomes an attachment, it creates pressure to avoid failure at all costs, leading to fear and rigidity. Buddhist detachment encourages you to see success and failure as two sides of the same coin. Both are temporary, and neither defines you. This perspective allows you to celebrate success without clinging to it, and to learn from failure without being overwhelmed by it. By maintaining this balance, you create a sense of stability and confidence that is not dependent on external circumstances. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in overcoming the fear of failure through detachment. When you are fully present, you can engage with the task at hand without being distracted by fears of what might happen. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment, where your efforts matter most. This presence reduces the influence of fear, as it shifts your focus away from hypothetical outcomes and toward the reality of what you can do right now. With mindfulness, failure becomes less daunting because you are no longer projecting it into the future or dwelling on past mistakes. Gratitude is another powerful tool for embracing failure with detachment. When you practice gratitude, you shift your focus from what went wrong to what you have gained, even in the face of setbacks. Gratitude helps you see failure as part of a larger journey, highlighting the progress you've made and the lessons you've learned along the way. This perspective fosters resilience, as you recognize that each failure is a stepping stone rather than an endpoint. Gratitude also reduces the fear of failure by reminding you that your worth is not tied to any single outcome. Self-compassion is essential in detaching from the emotional weight of failure. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you create a safe space to explore, take risks, and grow. Self-compassion helps you see failure not as a flaw, but as a natural part of being human. It reminds you that everyone experiences setbacks and that these moments do not diminish your value. By cultivating self-compassion, you build the confidence to face failure with courage and grace, knowing that you are supported by your own inner strength. The practice of non-attachment also encourages you to redefine success. When success is defined by external standards, it creates pressure to avoid failure at all costs. But when you define success based on your own values and efforts, failure becomes less intimidating. You can measure your success by how true you are to your principles, how much effort you put in, and how much you grow along the way. This shift in perspective allows you to pursue your goals with joy and purpose, free from the fear of falling short. Overcoming the fear of failure through detachment also involves embracing impermanence. Just as success is fleeting, so too is failure. No setback is permanent, and no mistake defines your entire journey. This understanding allows you to approach failure with a sense of lightness, knowing that it is just one moment in a larger process. By embracing impermanence, you can let go of the fear that failure will have a lasting impact, focusing instead on how you can move forward and learn. The process of detaching from the fear of failure is not about eliminating fear altogether. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and it can even be a source of motivation. Detachment helps you change your relationship with fear, seeing it as a signal rather than a barrier. When you acknowledge fear without letting it control you, you can take action with courage and clarity. This practice builds resilience as you learn to navigate fear without being paralyzed by it. Ultimately, detachment allows you to embrace failure as a teacher. Each setback becomes an opportunity to grow, adapt, and strengthen your resolve. This perspective transforms failure from something to be avoided into something to be welcomed as part of the journey. By letting go of the emotional weight of failure, you free yourself to take risks, pursue your goals, and live with confidence. Through the lens of Buddhist detachment, failure loses its power to define or diminish you, becoming instead a stepping stone on the path to growth and self-discovery. Overcoming the fear of failure through detachment opens the door to a life of courage and resilience. It allows you to embrace setbacks not as defeats, but as stepping stones for growth. Yet, even with this newfound strength, there are moments when the journey feels overwhelming. The path of self-discovery and confidence building is not one you have to walk alone. In fact, one of the most transformative sources of strength and self-belief comes from the collective support of a community, a sangha. In Buddhist teachings, a sangha is more than a group. It is a space where individuals come together to share wisdom, encouragement, and mutual growth. It is in these connections that you find the power to believe in yourself, to keep moving forward, and to flourish. The human need for connection runs deep. You are shaped by the people around you, family, friends, mentors, and even strangers who leave a mark on your life. A supportive community nurtures your confidence by reflecting your strengths, celebrating your progress, and offering guidance during times of doubt. The presence of others who share your values creates a sense of belonging, a reminder that you are not alone in your struggles or aspirations. This sense of connection fosters self-belief, as you see that your efforts are part of something greater, supported by those who care about your growth. A sangha provides a mirror for your potential. Often, self-doubt clouds your vision, making it difficult to see your own capabilities. Within a community, others can recognize and reflect your strengths back to you, offering perspectives that you might not see on your own. This external validation, when given genuinely and without judgment, reinforces your self-confidence, reminding you of the qualities you possess but may overlook. A supportive community does not create your self-belief, but amplifies it, helping you to internalize the truth of your worth. Mutual encouragement within a sangha creates an environment of shared growth. When you witness others overcoming their challenges, it inspires you to believe in your own capacity to do the same. This shared journey fosters a sense of solidarity, as you realize that struggles are not unique to you, but a part of the human experience. By supporting one another, the collective strength of the sangha uplifts everyone, turning individual challenges into shared victories. This interconnected growth nurtures a confidence that is not competitive but collaborative, rooted in the understanding that success for one benefits all. The wisdom shared within a sangha becomes a guiding light for self-belief. In moments of doubt, the teachings, insights, and experiences of others provide perspective and clarity. This collective wisdom reminds you that challenges are temporary and that you have the inner resources to overcome them. The guidance of mentors or more experienced members of the sangha can be particularly transformative, offering encouragement and practical advice drawn from their own journeys. Their belief in your potential becomes a source of strength, helping you to trust in your own path. A sangha also provides accountability, which is essential for building self-confidence. When you are part of a community, your actions and commitments are witnessed by others. This accountability motivates you to follow through on your goals, knowing that others are invested in your success. The shared commitments within a sangha create a sense of responsibility, not out of obligation, but out of mutual respect and care. This accountability reinforces your belief in your ability to persevere, as you see the impact of your efforts not only on yourself, but on the community as a whole. Belonging to a Sangha also teaches you the value of vulnerability. Confidence is often mistaken for invulnerability, but true confidence comes from embracing your imperfections and being open about your struggles. Within a supportive community, vulnerability is met with compassion rather than judgment. This acceptance creates a safe space for growth, as you learn that it is okay to ask for help, to make mistakes, and to start again. Vulnerability within a Sangha fosters deeper connections, reminding you that you are valued not for your perfection, but for your authenticity. The practice of giving and receiving within a Sangha strengthens your sense of self-worth. Offering support to others reinforces your belief in your own abilities as you see the positive impact of your actions. At the same time, receiving support teaches you that accepting help is not a sign of weakness, but a recognition of the interconnectedness of life. This balance of giving and receiving creates a cycle of mutual empowerment, where everyone contributes to and benefits from the collective strength of the community. This dynamic nurtures confidence as you see yourself both as a contributor and as someone deserving of care. A Sangha also provides a space for reflection and growth. Through shared discussions, meditation, or rituals, you are encouraged to look inward and explore your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. This reflective practice helps you to identify and challenge the sources of self-doubt, replacing them with a deeper understanding of your true nature. The collective energy of the Sangha supports this introspection, creating an environment where growth feels both safe and achievable. This shared journey of self-discovery fosters a confidence that is grounded in authenticity and self-awareness. The diversity within a Sangha enriches your perspective, helping you to see challenges and opportunities in new ways. Each member of the community brings their unique experiences, insights, and strengths, offering a wealth of wisdom to draw from. This diversity reminds you that there is no single path to confidence or success, but many ways to grow and thrive. By learning from the experiences of others, you expand your understanding of what is possible, reinforcing your belief in your ability to navigate your own path. A Sangha also serves as a reminder of the impermanence of challenges. When you see others move through difficulties and emerge stronger, it reinforces the truth that no struggle lasts forever. This perspective helps you to approach your own challenges with patience and resilience, knowing that they too will pass. The support of the Sangha provides strength during these moments, reminding you that you are not alone and that growth is always within reach. This shared resilience fosters a confidence that is unshaken by temporary setbacks. The relationships within a Sangha also teach you the importance of kindness and compassion, both toward yourself and others. These qualities create a foundation for confidence, as they remind you that worth is not measured by achievements or perfection, but by the care and connection you offer to the world. The compassion you experience within a Sangha helps you to develop self-compassion, quieting the inner critic and nurturing a supportive inner voice. This shift in perspective strengthens your self-belief as you learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you offer to others. Belonging to a Sangha also encourages you to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. In a world that often focuses on what remains to be done, a supportive community reminds you to acknowledge how far you've come. These moments of celebration build confidence as they reinforce the value of your efforts and the growth you have achieved. This practice of gratitude within a Sangha creates a positive feedback loop, inspiring further growth and deepening your belief in your own potential. The collective energy of a Sangha amplifies your intentions and efforts, creating a sense of momentum that is difficult to achieve alone. When you are surrounded by others who share your values and goals, their encouragement and commitment inspire you to keep going, even when the path feels difficult. This shared energy creates a sense of purpose and direction, reminding you that your efforts matter not only to yourself, but to the larger community. This connection to something greater than yourself reinforces your confidence as you see the ripple effects of your growth on those around you. Ultimately, a Sangha teaches you that confidence is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective journey. It is in the support, wisdom, and encouragement of others that you find the strength to believe in yourself. By embracing the interconnectedness of life and the power of community, you discover a confidence that is resilient, compassionate, and deeply rooted in the shared human experience. Through the support of a Sangha, you learn that growth is not only possible, but inevitable, as long as you are willing to walk the path together. The strength and resilience found within a supportive community provide a deep well of confidence and belonging, reminding you that growth is a shared journey. Yet, even amidst this collective energy, there is a quieter, more personal journey to undertake, a daily practice that roots you firmly in self-awareness and self-worth. These small, intentional rituals, drawn from Buddhist teachings, offer moments of reflection and connection, grounding you in the truth of your inner strength. Through these rituals, you weave confidence into the fabric of your everyday life, creating a steady, enduring foundation of self-belief that carries you through each moment with grace and clarity. Daily rituals create a sacred space within the busyness of life, offering moments of stillness and reflection. In these moments, you reconnect with your true self, beyond the roles, labels, or expectations placed upon you. This reconnection is essential for building self-awareness, a deep, compassionate understanding of who you are. When you dedicate time each day to simply being with yourself, you cultivate a gentle intimacy with your inner world. This practice allows you to witness your thoughts and emotions without judgment, fostering a sense of acceptance and clarity. One powerful ritual is the morning meditation. Beginning your day with a few moments of mindfulness sets the tone for how you move through the world. This practice centers you, allowing you to approach the day with intention rather than reactivity. As you focus on your breath, you become attuned to the subtle shifts in your mind and body, acknowledging whatever arises without attachment. This awareness builds a foundation of self-trust as you learn to navigate your inner landscape with patience and understanding. Another simple yet profound ritual is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, reflections, and intentions each day helps crystallize your experiences, turning fleeting moments into lasting insights. This practice provides a space to explore your emotions, uncover hidden fears, and celebrate small victories. Journaling is not about perfection or eloquence, but about honesty, a conversation with yourself that deepens your self-awareness. By putting pen to paper, you give form to your inner world, creating a tangible record of your journey towards self-discovery and growth. The act of mindful breathing throughout the day is a grounding ritual that reconnects you to the present moment. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, a few deep breaths can anchor you, bringing your awareness back to your body and away from spiraling thoughts. This simple practice reminds you of your capacity to create calm amidst chaos, reinforcing your inner strength. Breath by breath, you cultivate resilience, a quiet assurance that you can face whatever arises with equanimity. Incorporating gratitude into your daily routine is another transformative practice. Taking a moment each morning or evening to acknowledge what you appreciate fosters a mindset of abundance and positivity. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present, reminding you of the resources and support you already possess. This practice nurtures a sense of self-worth as you recognize the value in both your experiences and your responses to them. By honoring these moments, you reinforce the belief that your journey, complete with its ups and downs, is worthy of acknowledgement and celebration. A loving kindness meditation, or metta, is a ritual that cultivates compassion for yourself and others. By silently repeating phrases of goodwill, you foster a sense of interconnectedness and empathy. This practice softens the harsh inner critic, replacing self-judgment with understanding and kindness. Extending these sentiments to others reminds you that compassion is a shared human experience, deepening your sense of connection. As you nurture this loving kindness within yourself, your self-worth grows, grounded in the acceptance of your shared humanity. Another valuable ritual is setting daily intentions. Unlike rigid goals, intentions are gentle guides that align your actions with your values. By consciously choosing how you wish to show up each day, you create a sense of purpose and direction. These intentions serve as touchstones, reminding you of your commitment to personal growth and authenticity. Whether it's cultivating patience, practicing gratitude, or embracing courage, setting intentions reinforces your agency and the belief that you can shape your experience with mindful effort. Engaging in mindful movement, such as yoga or walking meditation, is a practice that bridges the mind and body. Moving with awareness connects you to the present moment and to the sensations within your body, fostering a holistic sense of self-awareness. This ritual is not about achieving a particular form or outcome, but about experiencing your body's capabilities and limitations with compassion. Each movement becomes an affirmation of your vitality and strength, reinforcing your confidence in your ability to move through life with intention and grace. Creating a sacred space in your home dedicated to these practices can further deepen their impact. Whether it's a corner with a meditation cushion, a shelf with meaningful objects, or a window seat bathed in morning light, this space becomes a physical reminder of your commitment to self-awareness and self-worth. Returning to this space each day anchors your rituals, creating a sanctuary where you can reconnect with yourself amidst the demands of daily life. Incorporating mindful eating into your routine transforms a necessary task into a nourishing ritual. By bringing full awareness to the act of eating, savoring each bite, appreciating the textures and flavors, you cultivate gratitude and mindfulness. This practice shifts your relationship with food from one of mere sustenance to one of reverence and care for your body. Mindful eating reinforces the belief that you deserve to nourish yourself with intention and respect, nurturing both your physical and emotional well-being. Listening to your inner dialogue throughout the day is another essential ritual. Becoming aware of the tone and content of your self-talk allows you to intervene when negative or limiting thoughts arise. By consciously choosing to speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, you reshape your inner narrative. This practice builds self-worth as you begin to trust in your own voice as a source of support rather than criticism. Over time, this shift in dialogue fosters a sense of inner confidence that is resilient and self-sustaining. An evening reflection practice where you review your day with openness and curiosity can also be deeply grounding. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or what could have been done differently, This ritual invites you to acknowledge what you learned and how you grew. Reflecting on your experiences without judgment transforms each day into a learning opportunity, reinforcing the belief that you are constantly evolving. This practice encourages self-compassion and gratitude as you recognize your efforts and embrace the journey, imperfections and all. Engaging in acts of service, even small ones, can be a powerful ritual for building self-worth. Whether it's offering a kind word, lending a hand, or simply being present for someone in need, these acts remind you of your capacity to make a positive impact. Serving others reinforces the interconnectedness of life, reminding you that your actions matter. This sense of contribution bolsters your self-belief as you see tangible evidence of your ability to create change and bring comfort to others. Affirmations are another simple yet profound ritual. Repeating positive statements about your worth and abilities helps rewire your brain, replacing negative thought patterns with empowering beliefs. These affirmations serve as reminders of your inherent value, anchoring you in a mindset of self-acceptance and confidence. By consistently affirming your strengths and potential, you build a resilient inner foundation that supports you through challenges. Reading or listening to inspiring teachings each day can also be a nourishing ritual, whether it's a passage from a Buddhist text, a motivational quote, or a story of resilience. These words offer guidance and encouragement. Surrounding yourself with wisdom and positivity nurtures your spirit, providing perspective and inspiration. This ritual reinforces your commitment to growth and self-discovery, reminding you that you're part of a larger tradition of seekers and learners. Ultimately, these daily rituals serve as gentle reminders of your inner strength and worth. Each practice, no matter how small, contributes to a tapestry of self-awareness and confidence. By dedicating time each day to these rituals, you honor your commitment to personal growth, creating a life that is rich with purpose, presence, and self-belief. In this way, you transform everyday moments into opportunities for deepening your connection with yourself and the world around you. Doubt may have whispered lies into your mind, but through the wisdom of Buddhist teachings, you now hold the tools to silence it. By embracing the truths of impermanence, non-attachment, self-compassion, mindfulness, and community, you've seen how confidence is not built on fleeting external achievements, but rooted in the quiet strength within you. Each step forward, whether practicing gratitude, releasing limiting beliefs, or cultivating daily rituals, brings you closer to living authentically, free from the weight of fear and self-doubt. Let these teachings become your daily companions. Remember, confidence isn't the absence of challenges. It's the resilience to keep going despite them. You have everything you need to walk this path boldly, with clarity and self-belief. Every moment you commit to growth strengthens the foundation of a life lived with courage and purpose. Now, we want to hear from you. What resonated with you the most in this journey? Was it the practice of mindfulness, the release of labels, or perhaps the transformative power of community? Share your reflections or personal stories in the comments below. We're here to learn and grow together. If you found value in these lessons, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss future content that inspires and empowers. Your journey is just beginning, and we'll be here to walk alongside you every step of the way. Let's keep building confidence, one mindful step at a time.